Bowling with the Theft.
I encourage you to get fast.
Your bowling stories.
All things the game of bowling.
Every week.
Helping bowlers.
The hand collapses down.
Live.
And I'm going to try to bowl the best I can.
2,000 subscribers. 2,000 subscribers.
And I want to challenge Chad Nelson.
Tom Corbett.
Jason Belmonte.
Let's do this. This is Bowling with the Pfaff.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday night on Bowling with the Pfaff, the platform for you to share your unique bowling story live on YouTube. And we have got an incredible show tonight for you. I've got a few things I want to cover before we bring our guests out, and it's a very special night here on the channel, and I'm glad those of you who are on live are joining us that way. The chat is open. Feel free to let us know where you're tuning in from, and if you have any questions or comments for our guests, and I'm sure they'll be willing to take those as we go. I do want to start out on kind of a somber note because here in Wisconsin, we have lost a couple big names in a couple different bowling communities since last I was on this show. Wisconsin and Milwaukee USBC Hall of Famer John Megna's funeral is tomorrow in New Berlin, Wisconsin. There is a celebration of life tomorrow evening at Blue Mound Bowl. Megna, who died late last month, won an eagle in the doubles event of the 1984 ABC National Tournament with Chris Kobus. Both Megna and Kobus have appeared on past episodes of this show. Megna was best known for his years in the pro shop business in the Milwaukee area, which is a legacy that is now carried on by Chad Kloss and staff at Bowlers headquarters. And one of this area's well-known bowlers also died late last month. Marilyn Kent bowled in multiple leagues at Wagner's Lanes and Bullwinkles in Eau Claire, Wisconsin for many years. She shared a love with the sport with her husband, Gary. They were married 62 years. They passed that love on to their son, Steve, who also bowls competitively in this area, but two great figures in the game. So sorry to see them go, and condolences to their friends and family. Because those two were fantastic people. Happy to have met them a little bit here. Well, we had some high-level junior competition here in Western Wisconsin at the JBST. The JBST is the Junior Bowlers Scholarship Tour, and they crowned a couple of new champions when they were in Eau Claire on Sunday. So a big congratulations to some of those bowlers for winning. You've got Aiden Scott, one of 58 bowlers competing in 3 divisions. There he is. He caught a great break right here, trying to hit the front 6 in game 1 of qualifying, crumbled the bucket, and he would finish with 245. Did not look back the entire day long. He won in boys scratch. That's Maggie Porter right there. She had a tight final match with episode 168 guest Olivia Baskin, but came through winning 182-175 to win girls scratch. And there's 7-year-old Jonathan Schwartz taking top honors in the handicap division. Congratulations to all 3 of those competitors. The JBST's next event is October 27th. And that is at Buzz Social, which is a really big center in the Green Bay area near Green Bay, Wisconsin. So great to see those folks coming to our area and showing their stuff, here in the Chippewa Valley of Wisconsin. So speaking of tournament action, we've got a tournament live stream coming up this Saturday. We'll have some of the best in Minnesota and the surrounding areas at the Champions Pro Shop Open. You can see it live right here on the channel. For the second consecutive year, Bowling with the Pfaff will be your home for live coverage of the tournament. It's the second jewel in the 10K Larson Siding Windows and Roofing Quintuple Crown. William Jones was the winner of the first event in the series. That was last weekend in St. Cloud, Minnesota at Southway Bowl. As far as the series points go, he will bring a 3-point lead to that event in Owatonna, Minnesota. The coverage starts at 8:30 in the morning with A-Squad qualifying, lasts through the stepladder that night. And I hope everyone will take the time to join us. I can tell you, after having done it last year, it is a fantastic event. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Handmade salsa is great, but it's such a hassle. Cutting yourself,
The constant waiting, burning yourself. Oh, look at that mess. Raise your snack standards. Chip Magnet Salsa.
Yeah, don't spend the time and the hassle trying to make it yourself. Leave it to the experts at Chip Magnet. They have a great deal for Bowling with the Fef viewers. If you go to their website, chipmagnetsalsa.com, and you order $30 worth of product or more and enter this promo code BWTF2024 at checkout, they will take 25% off your purchase. And that's a fantastic deal. Way to try many of those flavors all at once for a nice low price. Chip Magnet Salsa, raise your snack standards. And a big thank you, as always, to the folks at Chip Magnet for supporting local bowling and Bowling with the Fef. Well, I don't want to wait any longer. We're going to get our guests out here. Some of the most well-known roommates and traveling partners on the PBA Tour in the 1980s. And hopefully you know them when you see them. I'm going to bring them all out. Charlie Tapp and Tom Baker, Joe Hutchinson, and I'm gonna put myself in the corner here. I'll let you guys steal the spotlight here. But Charlie, you tell me about this Facebook post that you put out saying you guys haven't been together in the same place in 25 years.
Probably longer. The three of us together. I mean, it might be 30 years.
Okay.
So, I mean, Tommy and I still room together on tour. So, PBA 50. So but like with the Hutch, yeah, this is the first time. I can't remember the last time all three of us were together in one spot.
Oh, Tommy, do you still give him the top bunk?
Maybe a men's room somewhere, but
Yeah, I give him the top bunk. All right.
Yeah. No, great to have all three of you here. I was watching a live stream last night that Larry Lickstein does on the Lightning Strikes Facebook page, which is a fantastic live stream. You can tell he's just a totally still in love with doing that type of thing, staying involved in the sport. He wants me to tell you that you each owe $4 for ball transport from 1982 and that he has a bill for you.
Yeah, no, he'd still collect it probably.
Oh yeah, that's Larry for you.
Yeah.
You know what he would say. You know what the best tire is out there?
What's that?
Stop on a dime and pick it up.
Fef.
Yeah.
You see Larry, tell him he's a liar. I don't owe him anything. I'm going to tell you what. The guys can remember this, and that's when Larry was transporting the bowling balls and doing the shirts. That was a tremendous undertaking. So the one day, I always, honest to God, not bragging, I always come in the next week and I say, "What do I owe you?" I think I was shipping 4 bowling balls at the time, and I don't know how much it was a ball. How much was it a ball, guys?
I think at that time it was just $5.
Right, a ball.
It might have been that much.
No, it wasn't $5.
Yeah, but I used to come up. How much do I owe? And I'd pay him. So the one day in there, and you guys can probably remember this, he pulled out that computer sheet, and he says, "This is everybody that owes me money." And I'm standing in the paddock doing, whatever, and I know he didn't owe him anything, and all the guys, all the guys were there, and he looks and he goes, "There's one. You ready for this?" He goes, "There's one guy in this room that doesn't owe me money." And I know I don't owe him money, but I don't even know if I'm on the list. And he says, and he calls my name. And I think I owed him like $10 a week or $12, but I would go up and pay him. There were guys, he made a statement that the total there was thousands of dollars. The guys were going every week. They're in the bar every night. They're smoking every night. They're in the pool, pouring the beer to make sure the guy can slide down and everything, and they're not paying him. They're not paying. I mean, it was simple. We always paid. What's the big deal? I mean, but you'd be surprised. Some of the guys were tough with a buck. That really the buck they should have been free with, and the ones that they should have been a little more concerned with, man, they were slamming them down like crazy.
Sure. I see Dana writes in the chat, says, "Good evening, Bakes and Charlie. Hope you guys are doing well." Yeah.
Who's Dana Wright?
So Dana's in Minnesota, He has bowled a couple of the PBA 50 World Series of Bowling.
Yeah, I got a story about Dana.
Yeah,
Dana. I crossed next to him at the World Series, and that's when our boy PDW had a little issue with people double jumping in 4 lanes to the left and 4 lanes to the right. I was exaggerating, Joe, but I'm not. And so he was directing it at Dana. Now Dana's a pretty big boy.
Yeah.
And we've known each other for I don't know how many years. But anyway, so Pete's talking to him, but Dana's ignoring. And so I went up, I stood next to Dana, and he looks at me and he goes, "Charlie," he says, "I know he's directing that at me, but I'm trying not to go over there and break him in half." And I said, "Yeah, you don't want to do that, because this is you can ask Bates. That had been not that I'm not trying to backbeat or anything, but this had been an ongoing thing. I had to get between him and another guy at the Villages, because that was another guy that was going to snap him like a twig, and I had to get in between them, and and this had just carried on. I mean, Pete was going through a hell of a time, but yeah, it just but anyway, yeah, so Dana's standing there and he's like, "Charlie," I'm like, no, let's not go in jail, and then he'll go to jail, and then the next thing you know, we look and Pete's not there, and he was asked to leave, and now I think he's trying to get some help, I believe. But,
yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. So.
This Dana Wright, he isn't one of the boys used to come down from Wilmore to the Bowlerdrome, is he?
No.
I just wonder,
No, that was Doug Kingery. Doug Kingery, and Doug's brother played for the Royals. I think it was his brother.
Scott?
Yeah, I think that was his brother that played for the Royals.
Yeah, if he doesn't play for that ball club, Chuck, who cares?
That's right. If he doesn't play for the Twins, how about the gas can? How about them blowing up this year? Oh my God! Holy shit! I couldn't even watch them.
Speaking of things, how about the Bills, Bakes? Pretty good.
I thought so until last week.
Yeah, I was. When the game's on, I stay in touch with Doug Kent. I text him. He sends me some beautiful texts. He's a fanatic.
Oh, I know.
He goes to the games dressed up and everything. He's beautiful.
Yeah, he's got season tickets. I had the privilege of hanging out with him in one game. Me, my girl, and her son. We tailgated with him one game a few years back, and we still talk about the time we had up there. And my stepson there, he got a little sick. He was drinking that out of that horn, that Hutchinson horn. He was doing shots and all that off of that. He was so messed up. He never made it to the end of the game. I don't think. I'm not really sure. But anyway, we talk about that. What a good time it was, and he said he'll never do that again. You know how they say that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
he don't remember it, but he had a hell of a time.
Yeah, Dougie's an Avs fan, and I am too. I'm down here. I'm. When's the next game on? The Bills. Getting back to them. They got a great coach, and they just got. Baltimore wanted it more than them. They got out coached a little bit for me, but I think they're going to still have a good season. They're going to bounce back. So.
Okay, you got to tell the guys about when and Kazoo and Gwendon were rooming together.
Yep.
And the Bills are going to be on television. Tell them how early Kazuski used to get ready.
About 2 hours before the game.
And he didn't want anybody in the room talking or nothing, right?
No.
He used to sit on the edge of the bed with the Bills shirt on and everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
crazy.
can't say a word about the Bills. You can't. He had to listen to every play, get ready. He's all in his world of his own watching the Bills. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pfeff, when the Bills got destroyed by the Cowboys in the Super Bowl, we happened to be in Grand Prairie, Texas bowling.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Brad had the shoes with the bills on the side. Remember, Bakes? The Lins with the shoes.
Oh,
Okay, so we're all bowled in the same pro-am, and they introduce him as the biggest fan of the Buffalo, and the Cowboys had just beat them. And man, oh man, the boos and the yelling and the screaming. And so we, at the end of the thing, we're in the paddock and we're getting ready to leave, and guys are still Ballard and Robert Lawrence and name the guys, and Dickie Tatum and Dickinson. They're all yelling, "Hey, Bill." And all as we walking out of the paddock, I'll never forget this. Brad turns around and he goes like this to me and Bakes. He goes, "Hey guys, do you realize that in Texas, even after you're divorced, you're still brother and sister?" And I mean, the place went dead silent. He looks at me and Bakes and winks. He goes, I guess that ends that. And we walked up. Never said a word to him after. You're still brother and sister. I mean, it was, but they were just riding them. But Brad, I mean, them guys up there. Bakes grew up, Pfeff, in a great bowling town in Buffalo. I mean, there were great bowlers up there, and he turned out to be the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he did. You turned out to be and you had some guys up there to beat. Some guys with national prominence. Guys that have been on bowling shows. Jimmy Schroeder was on Make That Spare, Championship Bowling. He was on everything. I mean, and Bakes just, I mean, I think a lot of times, Tom, about Pop, Roz's father, right? Was that right. Roz's father, Pop?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm up there one time, and Tommy and I were bowling the doubles. We were rooming together all the time and stuff like this. And Pop says to me one day, he says, "Hutch," he says, "there's no bowler that I like to watch more than Tommy." And he says, "You know why?" I said to him, "I like to watch him too, Pop." He goes and gets to me, "Because at the end of 6 games, he still looks like he's warming up." Right, Charlie? Right, Charlie? Remember how easy he went up?
Absolutely.
Tommy made it look like a walk in the park. I mean, I tell you, I used to tell people, I said, I'm so jealous of the way Tommy bowls. I said, he just walks up. It's effortless. You probably still are. I can't imagine if you're throwing the ball any slower than you used to throw it, but I mean, you're probably down around my speed now. But it was of all the guys when we were doing Camp Bakes, of all the guys that we posed the question about strike balls, I'd always say like this: who threw the slowest ball and struck the most of anybody you ever saw? Mark, Dave Husted, everybody on the tour. Tommy Baker, not a doubt. And if you needed even another vote, if we can get Kachi back out of the grave, how about Kachi? Remember telling the stories about you, Bakes?
Yeah.
Telling the stories. I mean, telling me. Tom, can I tell a story about when we bowled when you were practicing in New Orleans? What I did to the lady?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, listen to this one. With me, Tom, Pete Couture, that miserable, shiftless, no good, rotten Pete Couture, and Tommy Laskow, I think we go to eat at Ruth Chris Steakhouse. Never heard of them. We go eat. We're going to go over and practice later. So we go over. And Tommy could practice for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. After about 20, 30 minutes, I mean, I'm sweating like crazy. I'm okay. So we get done. The Mega Touch machines had just come out. Okay. John Edelberg was the assistant tournament director. This is how long ago it was. Tommy was just starting. We were in bowling in the late 70s. Charlie, I don't think you were out yet.
Yeah, I wasn't out then yet.
No, so we're bowling. So Pete leaves, and so there's a bunch of us. We're playing the Mega Touch. We all got like $2-3 worth of quarters. And we're just putting them in, and we're playing that potpourri to see if we could beat the record. Whatever, we go undefeated. So I look later, and it's close to midnight. And I said, geez, we got to get up tomorrow. I'm bowling, we're going to come over here and practice there. And I go over, and Tom is still bowling. I think, if my memory serves me right, you were throwing a scarlet white dot. If memory serves me right. I don't remember ever throwing caramels, but scarlet white dot. And the crowd behind is terrific. And he's throwing the ball, throwing. I'm looking. So I said to the lady there, I said, what's going on? She goes like this to me, ready? Shh. He's on 26 in a row or something like that. And I went like this to the lady. Now we gotta leave. We gotta go. We gotta come back tomorrow morning. Shh. He's 26 in a row. You're gonna remember this. He picks the ball up and he's getting ready to put his hand in. And I yelled to him, Bakes. He turns around, looks at me. I said, hold it. I came down. This is terrible. I said, let me see the ball. Puts the ball and I went like this. I touched the ball, and I went like this to throw it. Bucket. The lady. I think if she ever finds out where I'm buried, if when I die, she's going to ship a pot of urine up and pour it over. That's what she thought. But I mean, and we're leaving. I said to you, do you know how many you were on the row? You said no, you didn't. You just the ball came back, and you were. But I touched that ball, kiddingly, looking at the lady, and I said, and you went up and threw. That was hysterical.
Tell them about when Banks did the duck pins.
Yeah.
When you guys walked into that duck pin.
This story is, we were bowling in Baltimore, and we were staying in a Howard Johnson's, and there was a bowling alley next door in the lot, but you couldn't see it. It was underground. Okay. So I said to Tom when we went back the night, I said, why don't we go in the lanes? We didn't know what they were, and just play some pinball. Yeah. It was okay. So we come in and we go down like a couple flights of stairs, and the sound was different. It was just a different sound. And we go down to duck pins. I had never bowled duck pins. Tommy had never bowled. And I said to him, come on, let's bowl a game. No, I don't like, come on, no, please. Okay. I talked him into bowling. Put our shoes on. And he was a little, honest to God, he'll remember this, a little confused at the start. He said, geez, I said, Tom, just walk up like you do and throw it. Just, no holes, just roll it, right? Yeah. So the first game, I think I had like 90 something, and Tommy had like 100 and something. Second game, I got like 110, and Tommy bowls like 130. The third game, I got like 120 something. He bowls like 158. And he's just walking up and letting it go. So we're taking our shoes off. I'm taking my shoes off, and he throws the ball, and he gets a strike. And he's taking his shoes off. What are you doing? You're on a strike? Can't go on a strike. He goes, okay, double. I look at him, can't triple. 4 in a row, 5 in a row, 6 in a row.
Wow.
5 pin, makes it, spares. Strike, 6 pin, makes it, spare. Now he's got 250 if he strikes out. Strike on the first ball in the 10th, second frame shot leaves the 6 pin. He takes the ball, puts it in the bag. You know what he said to me? I don't want him to charge me for another game. It's $1, right? So anyway, I go up to the desk. And the guy behind the desk says to me, how long you and your buddy bowling duck pins? And I said to him, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes, an hour. I'm serious. He says to me, your buddy has 6 in a row. I said, yeah. We're 10 pin balls. I went, yeah. He goes, I'm bowling 35 years. I never had 6 in a row in my life.
Oh.
Okay, so I get a bug that maybe we can bowl some of these guys for money, because I honestly, we were watching them bowl. Remember, Tom, they used to have the bag with the 3 balls?
Yep.
And it was a firing line. The guy threw the first ball 200 miles an hour. If you were right-handed, he threw it back up, left-handed, because you wanted the thing to sweep past the head pin and throw everything and come back.
Oh, okay.
Almost like the guys with the helicopters now in the Orient, right? So he'd throw, and then he'd come right back, pick their second ball up, pick their third ball. There's no holes in it. He'd pick it up and throw. It was a red. So we talked about that, and we said to him, when's your good league ball? The guy says tomorrow night. So Tommy and I went back, and we both had cashed our checks or whatever for the week, and we had some money on us. So we go back the next night, and we walk in. Best league is bowling. High average in the place is like, I think the guy said like 139. That's high average. I mean, I don't think no one's ever averaged 200 duck pins at the time. So anyway, we walk in and we're walking across, and you could sort of feel everybody on us. And I said to the guy, I said, if you want to bowl doubles, you bowl us. If you want to bowl singles, you bowl my buddy. And we had a knot of money each, which was now you wouldn't do that because you might get knots on your head, but we did it. But anyway, they talked it over, and the guy came back and said, nobody wants to bowl you. So we leave. We see Burton the next week. Or maybe I don't know. We went to Kansas City the next week, Tom. I don't know if it was there or whatever. We talked to Bo, and we told him what happened. He said, you scared him. He said, they thought you were hustlers. They didn't know you were novices. He said, you walk in. The guy told him that he said the Bakes had 6 in a row. He said he bowled a game higher than probably anybody in the building ever bowled in their life. And so the next week when we went to Kansas City, we came out to throw the practice balls. The ball was like this big. I remember picking it up. I'm like, holy Christ, I can't see the pins. It was right. Then you go up and throw them. Bakes and Bo told us, said, you guys better do a lot of bowling because you get out of whack, and we for a little while.
Oh,
But
yes.
that's the God's honest truth.
Sure.
That's the
Wow.
that's the truth.
Yeah.
So your average in ducks is about 170.
That's the world record.
Oh,
Right.
unbelievable.
That ball felt like 100 pounds the next time we bowled.
Yeah, you remember?
Oh,
It was
yeah.
unbelievable how big and how heavy it was.
We were messed up for a couple games.
Yeah.
Yeah, Polis and I did that. Polis and I did that in Baltimore, and then we went to oh God, I was still bowling rabbits, so it had to be 79, takes 79. So we go out after we're done. We go to Baltimore, and we bowled till I don't know, got 1 o'clock in the morning. Then we drove to Garden City, and we got to bowl the Andy Vera Papa Pro-Am on Sunday. You know, to make enough money to pay for the week. You know, 'cause
Yeah.
I know I'm going to miss the rabbit. You know, so anyway, we go, and it was the same thing. And the ball was like a medicine ball.
Yeah, but
Right. And Andy Vera Papa is walking up and down the thing, you know, and and he's a little Italian guy. I can't understand a word he's saying, but hey, big guy, throw a ball faster. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I feel like I'm throwing it over him. The ball's just loping down there. And the pins look like redwoods, and I'm like, oh my God. And I said, are you just screwed up? And he goes, oh yeah.
the first year you bowled the rabbits, I want you to tell Fef, what title did you have after the Rabbits Club? You were the pinball player.
Oh yeah, the best pinball player on tour.
He was the best pinball player on tour. He only made a couple of rabbits, so when he was done, he had to hang around all week. He was in the arcade.
Oh yeah.
And him and we were in the arcade in Miami, and you played that boxing game.
Oh yeah,
Glass Joe. I never, Fef, honest to God, if I didn't wet my pants that night, I laughed so hard because he knocked Glass Joe out, and then Bear Hugger would come out with the head knocker, and he's looking at me. He says, "Hutch, I'm going down. What do I do?" I was hysterical. I never laughed so hard. It was fantastic. It was a fantastic night. I'm sorry he ran out of quarters. It was
I know I didn't have it. Well, if it wasn't for these two guys, I never would have done anything on tour.
Yeah.
We were going to go to the baseball game in Houston. Me, Hutch, Bakes. I don't know if you went to the game or not. It was me, Hutch, Frank Ellenberg.
I went to the game.
Yeah, and Bakes, and we were going there because J.R. Richards was pitching.
Not bad.
And it was sold out. That's why we didn't go.
Yeah,
and we're walking back across the street to go back to the hotel.
Let me try and set the scene. Is it like these days?
Oh, it's before that. Yeah, more or less. Yeah. Where the hell are you getting these pictures? Good God, that other one looks like I'm 12 years old. This one looks like I'm 112. So yeah, we're walking across the street to go back to the hotel. And I think Bake said, "Well, or Hutch said, why don't you go bowl? Let's see if we can, work something out, And that's what we did. I just changed my hand a little bit and all that stuff, and I got through the rabbit, made the finals there, and I left 2 solid 8s position rounder. I made the show. Then I go the next week and finish 7th, and I just I bowled real good in the fall. I just missed being exempt.
That was Waukegan, right?
Yeah,
Waukegan was the one after.
Yeah, and then we were at the World Open was the last one. And remember, Joe, we're sitting in the snack bar with Mad Dog McCall.
Yeah, Ron Mad Dog Plastic Shoes McCall. Yeah,
that's him. And he said to me, because it was the day of the semifinals, right?
Yeah, the cashers round.
Yeah, the cashers round. And he goes, well, he says, I hope you don't make it, because he said, I hope you don't make it, because if you do, then I'm not going to make it. And I'm like, well, that's too bad. Your ass is going to be sitting next year because I'm going to make it. And I did. Yeah. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that was yeah. It wasn't for these two guys. Probably never would have. That probably never would have happened. These guys saved me from a life of prosperity.
I'll tell you about another great throwdown with Charlie.
Yeah.
We're bowling I'm not. He's bowling in the finals in Baltimore, and we're in the snack bar at the bowling center. You know this story before the round. and all the guys are in there. And one of the, Bill Coleman was in there, and he was a sweetheart. He was a terrific guy. And we're talking. This one's talking about that. And all of a sudden, Bill says something. Charlie says something. Bill goes, "That's right, Charlie Tapp." He said, "I owe you one from the last time we bowled." And because Charlie, I think was. He was 100 pins. He was 200 pins out of 24th, but he was 300 pins out of 22nd. That's where he was. And so he has until this week goes out. So they bowl that morning, the last game. And Charlie's out of the game. No way. Strikes out 9th and 10th. He forces Bill to, stay behind the line, keep breathing, all that other stuff. He throws the ball down and he leaves the bucket with the 7 pin.
Okay.
He then throws the ball down and misses the 2 pin again. He goes 7 out, and Charlie beats him by a pin. And I'm down there, and Charlie goes over, and Bill's doing the sheets, and he's livid. And Charlie just, because he's being what he does, he looks at Bill like just as cold as ever and goes, "Now you owe me 2." He used to. Didn't he smoke the Moors too?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And he had a beautiful wife, Janelle, and they were traveling in the motorhome, and Charlie goes, I heard him, he turned around, he said to Janelle, "Did you grab the pack of cigarettes? Get the kids, we're out of here."
Hey, Bakes, I should ask you, because BSJ83 sent this a little bit ago. Is it true that you're Lindsay Boomershine's uncle?
That is true. Yes,
Yeah?
that's my brother's daughter. Yes.
Okay.
And I used to teach her when I was in my younger days, when she was just getting started. I used to teach her quite a bit, actually.
Ah, okay. Well,
That's not Hank's daughter, is it?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's Hank's daughter.
Wow. Is he okay, Bakes? Is Hank still around? I mean, I've been a smart guy with you. Is Hank good?
Yeah, Hank's good. Yeah, he's
and your other brother, the accountant?
Yeah, he's good too. They're both good.
Gee, God, I mean, I haven't thought, Hank, God almighty. And the wife or the girlfriend of a good bowler too?
Yeah, Cheryl. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Yes. She was pretty good average bowler. Yeah, I don't know if she's still bowling, but I know my brother's still bowling.
That's good. Is Hank as old as me?
Hank is going to be 80 in December.
Okay, I'm 75.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm 75. And your other brother is older than you too?
Yeah, he's 75.
I knew it's something common.
Yeah. And I just turned 70.
Okay.
That's impossible.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I
remember me and Joe Hutch, we won the doubles in the Showboat in 1981. And I just wanted to say, we're bowling Earl Anthony and Nelson Burton Jr. for the title. And I'm not bowling my best. I got a lucky break one shot, and I tripped the 2. And we were down 10 pins going into the 9th frame. And I'm sitting on the seat with Joe Hutch, and he taps me. And I'm going, "What's up?" He goes, "Here it comes, Bakes."
It's God's honest truth, man.
He called he says, he went like this with his elbow. And I'm like, and Errol Anthony went up there and threw the shot, and he elbowed it, and he left the double pinochle, I think.
6, 7, 10.
6, 7, 10. And me and Joe went on to win that doubles. And that was just remarkable. What Joe did was just sitting on the bench. He says, "Here it comes, Bakes." And I didn't, out of the blue. I don't know how you sensed that or knew that, but that was amazing.
Well, I tell you what, Charlie, when you see look, all of us total don't have as many titles as Earl. I mean, right. He's got 43, but he needed a strike he needed a mark to beat you in the 10th frame in Toledo, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you watch Earl's, God bless him, he was great. His follow through was like this on that shot, and he got the wall shot. The ball actually, he pulled it up in the oil, Charlie, and it faded back. I mean, it's just amazing. But God love him, he's gone. But I said to Tommy before that time that I said, I think if we can press him, I thought that he would elbow one. Because if Earl was ahead of you, forget it. And I mean, but if you could press him a little bit, every once in a while, he'd boom in 6-pin, 6-10 or something like that. But Bo and I had a bet. If we got to the championship match, whoever lost between him and I had to go over the high school over by the showboat at noon the next day because it was like 114 degrees and run 3 miles. Okay? So when I get to strike in the 9th frame and I'm coming back, and I don't know if you remember this, Tommy, but I said it loud enough so they could hear me. No matter what they do now, they can't shut us out. Right. No matter what they do, I said they can't shut us out. So they'll come up with it. So Bo come up. He had a double to make Tommy show up. He threw a ball. He left a 3-9-10. I mean, his ball this far from his ankle up. I mean, he yipped it. We've all yipped him. Mm-hmm. Okay, yipped it, right? So when Tommy's bowling the 10th frame, I'm leaning over. If you look at the television shot, I'm leaning over, and I'm not saying nice tournament. I'm leaning over the bowl, and I'm going like this to 3 miles tomorrow at noon. Oh, I let him know. He didn't. I came down to the cage later time at the showboat, and Earl was cashing something. Yeah. And I remember the show was on tape delay because it was live in the East, but it was out there 3 hours later. Right. I watched the show in the room. And I said to Earl, I was just upstairs watching the show. You know what he said to me? What show? I said, the bowling show. He said, you call that a tournament? He said, winning 5 frames each? I said, we knew what it was going in. That's what it was. Yep. And I looked at him, I said, personally, myself and Tom, I said, I'm pretty sure we wished it was 10 each. Yeah, it was 10. I mean, I'm not going to, but I'm going to tell you, I told this story at the camp, and Mark said to me, Hutch, this is the best. I never told these guys this. Earl was, we're bowling a pro-am at Kendall, and we come out to bowl, and let's say I'm on 7 and 8, Earl's on 9 and 10. And I always tell the story like this. I said, the crowd of people behind me was terrific. The guy goes, you're kidding. No, it was just overflow from Earl. I said, they wanted to see him, but there was no room. I said, so the first game, I said, I got the crowd electrified. I got like 208 clean. Earl bowls 2T. The second game, no holes barred. I go like 214. Earl bowls like 220. There was a family, and Tommy, you'll know who I mean. The girl used to date Cliff Saliba, and she was out with her mother and her aunt, and they were at the Masters in Syracuse. They loved bowling, and they were there. And I can't remember her first name now, but if I said her name, you know it. She'd have to be 65, right? And she goes like this to Earl. She says, well, are you going to bowl a game, or can I just go back and tell my mother we'll see you at the Italian restaurant at 7:30, 7 o'clock? And he goes like this to me. This is God's honest truth. He goes, what do you mean a game? She says, like 300. He goes, 300? Geez, I don't know. I said, that's, he's serious. And I'm sitting there, and, I'm going to myself, what, I mean, I've heard Brooks babble less than this. What are you talking about 300? Like it will? If you can, so he says to her, give me 2 shots. Flush. And I mean, 10 pins go sideways, they go into the pit. He turns around, looks at her, and God is my witness. He goes, 297. 297. I'm like, this guy's an idiot, right? I said, he's got to be delusional, you know what I mean? So, third frame, he's on the right lane because he's going to finish on the odd lane. Flush. I mean, you look like someone's showing you a picture over and over, like that tape of Holman years ago throwing the ball, the same shot. Over 10 pins high. 9 in a row. The place is crazy. Carter's right behind him. Comes up in the 10th frame. 10 back, 10 back. I'm like, I'm bowling this guy for money. They said that he's calling a 297 game. I can't call it 225. Okay, so now he gets up the next shot. He doesn't cheat. He stands in the same place I'm watching. And he lets it go. And I hear in the back somebody yell hook. And he leaves the 136. Wow. 297. Everybody went, oh. One person stood up and applauded her. Yeah. So we had the tote bags, the 2 ball totes, and I am sitting. My mouth's like, it's down here. I'm bowling you for money when I got to go home soon. And he's putting the ball in the bag. And honest to God, he goes like, he had the glasses, and he just turns to me like this, and he goes like this to me. I said, "Oh God." He walks off. He made the show that week. He didn't win, but he made the show. I go, "My God."
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
people have no idea. The guys today really don't have much of the respect element isn't really there for what the guys. The game has changed so much. It's so much different, and it's not going back, and it'll never go back. But it's this is what it is today.
Yeah. Hey, Charlie, has this changed for you? Moto Fusi wants to know if you still refuse to eat anything green.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If it's green, I ain't eating it.
Okay.
Well, I won't. Okay, next question.
I might smoke it, but I ain't gonna eat it. Yeah.
Charlie put sugar on his salad.
And lemon.
Yeah, he never put any dressings on it. Remember, Banks?
Yeah.
No, sugar. I go, what? Sugar on salad?
Yeah, with lemon. Yeah.
You guys were saying that pinball was his claim to fame. I mean, over the summer, I found out another claim to fame that he had, but I had to go up to Alexandria, Minnesota, to the Minnesota USBC Hall of Fame induction ceremony to find out about it. This is Mark London's speech, at least part of it, from that event. Listen.
The only Twin Cities sports personality never to be interviewed by Sid Hartman. Sid interviewed everybody except Charlie Tapp. Nowadays, reporters may ask an interview subject if they're famous enough for a selfie. Back then, it was an autograph. And so Charlie was kind enough. I said, okay, all right, well, don't write it to me. Write it to the team, the St. Cloud State bowling team. So he did. To the St. Cloud State varsity bowling team, thank you for your support. It's very much appreciated. To London, please stay out of my hair. Apparently, I got a reaction out of the guy who's so shy. He's not really shy at all. He's quite a storyteller, and I hope he's up here one of these days.
Hutch, you and I went. That's the one that you and I went to. Remember, it was you and I and Jerry Ernster and Gwen Sigsworth. We did a thing at St. Cloud State College. That was 1980. Oh, Pfeff, when was that?
Mid 80s, maybe 84.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
I do remember doing something with you in Minnesota. Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's what the one. That's the one that he's talking about.
Yeah.
That's how long ago that was.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The place is called Atwood Recreation Center.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Because he went to St. Cloud State.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy,
it was at St. Cloud State. Yeah.
Tommy, how's Roz?
Roz is not doing well. She's in a home. She has dementia.
Oh, Pfeff, wow. I'm talking to Tommy about his sponsor who passed away, his sponsor's wife, Freddie Sy. Roz bowled on the Ladies Pro Tour, right, Tom?
Yes.
She bowled on the Pro Tour. She cashed a few times, made a couple of finals. I think she was beautiful. She was a beautiful person, and she still is. That's never going to change. But I asked for long. I always said to myself, if I ever got back to Buffalo, I wanted to go see her. And then I think I got some news from Cazoose that she wasn't doing too good. But Chef's Restaurant is still going, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Wow. Was there last September.
Yeah, that's one of them places when you go to Buffalo. Probably as good Italian food as any place I've had. And I've had it all over the country.
Larry said the place was Salvatore's Italian Gardens. He said that Bakes, you love to go there. He said that you'd eat there with Petraglia himself, Berardi, Roth, Holman, Pappas, Harry Golding. He said he called it part of the eating tour.
Yeah, Salvatore's is still there too, actually. That was up there on Transit Road. That was it was actually one of Mo Pinnell's favorite places to eat. God bless Mo Pinnell.
Yeah,
Uncle Mopey.
Uncle Mopey, he was my guru back, before he passed away. God bless him. Miss that guy. But anyway, Salvatore's was on the eating tour. Yeah, getting back to that. We had our special places. Me and Hutch and Charlie, we were in Las Vegas. and we would go to this one Italian place and
the Venetian room.
Yeah.
The Venetian, and Joe Hutch would always order the baked mustacholi.
That's right.
And we would leave there, and we couldn't breathe. We ate so much.
Oh God, that place was unbelievable.
Well, we couldn't breathe out our nose. Yeah, you're right about that. I remember that. But Freddie, first year that Tommy and I rooming together, we're in Vegas, and Freddie appears out of nowhere. And he's staying at Caesars. He had a comp, and comes over. He says, "Tonight we're going to eat." You remember where we went to eat, Tom, the first time we were there with Freddie?
Yeah.
It wasn't far from the Showboat.
This is Freddie who?
For Duke.
That's Freddie. Freddie used to. That was my first wife's father.
Okay.
Father-in-law back in the early '80s.
Charlie, don't you remember Freddie Saya?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, this is who it is.
Yeah.
We went to Gus Gallo's.
Oh, okay.
And it said outside Gus Gallo's, ristorante in Italian, like with the thing. So we walk in, and me and Tommy, the lady sees Fred and goes like this. She goes to Fred and comes over. And the owner, Gus, he says, "Tell Gus Freddie from Buffalo's here. Out he comes." And he sees Freddie. Gives him a little botch of the kids. You right there? The botch?
Yeah.
And I went, who? Go over, sit down. Tray of food comes out. We eat, we order, boom, boom. Freddie got neck bones. Remember, Tom, for appetizer?
Yep.
Used to get the neck bones of the cow, please. It was a delicacy because they ate everything else on the cow that was edible. So anyway, he gets that, and at the end, they can bring the dessert right away. And the guy goes, "Freddie, can't pay." Freddie takes a $100 bill out, creases it, puts it on the table. We walk out, right? Okay, the next night he said, "I got another place for us to go." We go out on Sahara to the Venetian room. It's on the left-hand side, little place. Walk in, lady, Fred, what? From Niagara Falls. The guy that ran that. Remember?
Yep.
Niagara Falls. He comes out, Freddie. Okay, all right. Sit down. He'd send out a appetizer tray. Oh my God, it was fantastic. We used to go up order pizza. The pizza was delicious. The pasta, everything was perfect. First night we were there, no, Fred, can't pay me. I'm thinking to myself, wow. And then, later on, Freddie and I got to be real good friends. And I tell you what, he was something special. The people really didn't know. Tommy found out later, about him. But boy, to me, he was great. He was a great friend. And Freddie took me around, and when we were up there talking about that bowling center, he took me around and he showed me the major streets, Tom, I had to know if I moved to Buffalo. There's certain streets you're going to know. They're north and south and east and west. That's all you're going to know, like 4 streets you can run in each way and you can get to anywhere. And he took me to a house to eat, a person's house. And he knocks on the door. The lady sees him. Freddie, come on. He gets the other guy. The guy comes down. His wife cooks for us. And he says, "This is the gentleman I sponsor on a tour. This is his best friend. But we're talking. We're going to get the bowling center in Tonawanda. He's going to be here, and we're going to, I even did a speaking thing at the one classic league that I was in down here and said goodbye. I said goodbye because I'm going to go up there, and then all of a sudden, it falls through. But I was prepared to go up there lock, stock, and barrel. I mean, Buffalo's a great city. A lot of things to do, a lot of fun, much more than Scranton. But at the time of my life, you're looking for things to do that were fun, and there was a lot of great bowling, great competition, and everything. And that's where Tommy honed his abilities. I mean, he had to be good to be. He had just to be the best in Buffalo. He had to be terrific.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You had to be.
Yeah. They put some of the tournament results from Buffalo on Facebook once in a while, and they're from 30, 40 years ago. Yeah. And the names in there are it's just incredible. Because some of those guys, they peaked they got their foot in the door a little bit on tour. And they come out, they make finals.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they make finals and cashes, and
Yeah.
I mean, they were good.
There was that
You
guy,
know,
Dick Siprich.
Yeah.
He
Dick
made
Siprich, and then the Bison Sausage Team. Remember, right? Art Jeziorsky.
Art Jeziorsky, Joe Gabalieski, all the Polish guys. Yeah.
Vinny
Well, Joe
Boomaz.
Galambieski was Jimmy Schroeder's son-in-law.
Yes, it was. Yep.
Yeah,
Jimmy-
Christine
Jimmy
says
Schroeder.
there were few cities better than Buffalo for bowling back in the day. And,
Oh, yeah. Chris reps that big. That's Stoke on ramp.
Yeah.
That's if you just say thanks, Stoke. That's Stoke on ramp. That's Christine's nickname. That's Patrick. That's Patrick Allen and Mop. And Michael Richmond. He was on that team. That team was bad. And there was another
Mike Newman.
They had a great team.
Mike Newman.
No, he was a. There was a kid out of ask Chris. There was a kid out of New York. His father was on the senior tour, and if I'm not mistaken, Chris Vial might have been on that team. Newman bowled with the guys from Buffalo, didn't he?
Yes.
And then he was on. Whatever happened to him at the time?
Nobody really knows. Last I heard, he was in jail in South Carolina. Believe it or not.
Oh.
I mean, there's a lot of stories, but I bowled with him. I know Tom bowled with him. I'm probably in the league against him and stuff. And John Gaines was at the camp, and John was one of the big. John's top bowler, but he won the U.S. Amateur and a bunch of gold medals in the Team USA thing. And he said to somebody one time, he said, Newman is the only guy that I ever bowled with or against. I never saw him pinch in a key situation. He said, I've pinched. He looks, he says, the big brass guy. Oh, yeah. He said, I don't believe I ever saw him pinch the ball in a key situation. He said, he was as good as I ever saw. And he he self-destructed.
Yeah.
Self-destructed.
Yeah. I had Fran Bax on the show a while back.
Did he have his bat towel with him?
No, I mean I feel like that was kind of like the start of my education in Buffalo bowling history, because I didn't know a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, him and Mark Fay, the room, there was always a bat towel short.
So Christine says we bowled with Norm Ginsburg Jr.,
That's
Brian
him,
Bogosian,
Ginsburg, yes. Yeah,
Patrick Allen, and Mike Lickstein.
How's those four guys?
Great.
You better. And then I mean, Michael had Patrick was just coming into who he was. Brian straight as a string up the second arrow and just come off his hand like its weights come off his hand. And Norm hooked it. Norm had power, rev rate. Norm was terrific. Ball. That was a terrific team. Yeah, but
That's funny that with Patrick and Mike Lickstein running around the bowling center in Hartford when they were little kids. Unbelievable.
Well, they made the show then in Texas in the doubles. Remember?
Yeah.
I think they might have led. I don't know, but Richie Wolf was on the show with Hugh Miller. I mean, it was I got we were talking. You mentioned Mo Pinnell. Tommy, remember the tournament he ran in the winter at Mohawk Lanes when he owned it? You won it the first year.
Yeah.
And the second year, I think Sam Zurich won, and you come in second.
Yeah.
The first year that you come in first, I come in second. The next year you were second, I come in like fifth or something, right? And the spread he put out for us and everything, and the pro-am, and everything was free. We didn't have to pay for the rooms, nothing, right? So one of the guys that just passed away not too long ago, Dennis Jakes, we palled with Dennis, and Dennis was a great guy. He was always had irons in the fire. Last I heard, he was going to have the Dexter shoe thing in Tahiti, but anyway, he's
with Quentin Hayward.
Yeah. That's Bermuda.
Oh, Bermuda.
So, yeah, Dennis was leaving to Tahiti with an outrigger canoe, but he didn't want to row. He just wanted to have the megaphone. So I'm in the room. It's freezing cold time that one year, and I'm watching television about 11:30 midnight. Knock on the door. Knock on the door. I go like this. Who is it? And he goes, Dennis. And I'm kind of a witty guy. I go, Dennis who? And he goes, It's Dennis Jakes. I went, oh, Dennis. I can see. I get up, I open the door, he comes in. I said, what's up, Dennis? He goes like this to me. I'm getting married. And you remember, Charlie, right?
Mm-hmm.
We married?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And I said to him, to who? And he tells me, I said, really? He goes, because I had never seen him with a girl. I never seen him have date anybody. And I said to him, you sure? He goes, oh, yeah. I said, how long you been seeing her? He goes, well, 8 months. And I said like this to him, but I've never seen you with her. Well, it's tough. She's here and I'm there. Then I'm all over the place. But we've been staying in touch. You ready? Well, phone calls and letters. Phone calls and letters. And I said,
coming in.
Yeah. And he says to me, I just wanted to invite you. I said, well, thanks. And I said, the wedding's going to be at her place. It was about 600-700 miles from where I live. I said, if I'm out there doing something, or there's a tour, Dennis, of course I'll go. But if I'm not, I so he's walking out the door and he's opening the door. And I said to him, are you sure? He looks at me, he goes, hey, I never tried it. How bad can it be? He walks out. And the next thing you know, he's prancing around. He had her on his arm. I said, about 2 years in, that all ended. 2 or so years in. And remember his father? When Dennis's father was out?
Yeah.
He was a great guy. I said to him one day about the divorce had happened and Dennis was bowling. I said, why did he jump right in to get married? So Hutch, I tried to tell him. I said, you have to tell me why he married her. My God, that was up. He says, yeah. I said, it cost him anything? Every penny he had. He said, free and the payment. I said, like, why? I don't. And he got married again. Did you ever hear that story? Got married again to a girl that was connected to them. Connected.
I didn't.
Yeah,
no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Got married again. Had a kid. Leaves her. Right? I mean, whatever. Everybody does things for you. They found him in Tennessee, and all they said to him is, "You got to come back. You got to pay your due. You got to come back." And he came back. And he
really?
Stayed. Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I never heard that.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it just. I said, like, where is it? Because he was bowling the regionals in the East when we were there. And all of a sudden he vanished. No one knows where he is. No one. Everybody ask anybody. No, I haven't seen him. I found him somewhere in Tennessee. I don't know. He's putting corks in jugs. I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing something. And he just. And then he comes back. But Dennis was a fun-loving guy.
Yeah.
He bowled 300 lefty and 300 righty. If you saw him bowl right-handed, there wasn't a doubt. If you saw him bowl left-handed, he had to be bowling on a lane that was like this to the pocket because he was all over the place, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
So remember the Ghost Ranch Lodge in Tucson?
Oh, my God, yeah.
Across the street? I was staying there. I'm bowling B squad. I walk across. A squad's just starting. I get a coffee. I'm sitting down. All the guys I'm sitting with, Pfeff, are about as old as I am now.
Okay.
And Golden Pin, beautiful establishment. Pete Thomas walking through all the time. So Dennis is right here in front of me. I'm with the 4 or 5 guys, and I'm doing like a commentary on Dennis's bowling. Strike, and I mean the surface was pristine, and all of a sudden that carried down and hit you. If you missed it, forget it. He 2-4-8-10 the next shot. Hey, he turns around. He's like, so he's standing there. I said to the guys, I said, so he could, and he can hear me because I wasn't far away. I went, Dennis has a 300 game left-handed. In the pros, you can switch hands. And they're looking at me, no. And I know he's, and I said, I don't doubt that he's going to pick his ball up left-handed, and I think he can make this. He picks it up. It's in the gutter in the arrows. So he's 46-42. He's got 48 in the third. He ain't saying nothing. Comes back, strike, 2-8-10. I said to him, so I go to guys like this. See the last one? He learned. Watch. This one would have hit the 10 penny. Goes like this. He's 65. He's 72 in the fifth with 3 strikes. Something. 10th frame, he can save the game for 180. He can save the game for when he's on a double. I mean, he's got another open somewhere, and he's on a, and he got that paw around it really heavy, and it looked pretty good at the last minute. Everything stood up, him and the ball. Through the snoot, right to church. He's the Greek church, and he's on fire. These guys are back there. I said, "No, wait a minute. Calm down, calm down." I said, "You don't have to shoot this lefty. You can shoot this righty." And I explained to them in detail. Like the 6 goes off, the 9 goes over, hits the 7, bounces out, it's the 4, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, no. Here mills it goes in the 10th. I think he goes 159, right? He's livid. He's putting the balls in the bag, and I come up to him with the coffee. I'm stirring him like this. What pair are we going to next? He goes, "Get out of here before I kill you."
Oh, I hope we get Bakes back. It looks like he lost his connection.
Where do you go?
Yeah, hopefully he can.
Charlie, remember when, God, you love this. Remember the time I'm bowling Pete in Hamilton, Ontario?
Oh my God!
And you remember when Mike was on 1 and 2 and
Absolutely.
Are you talking Pete Couture?
Shiftless, miserable, no good, rotten Pete Couture. Yes. I mean, I got a couple of stories about Pete that I got to tell you. Charlie doesn't know, but when I was traveling with him. Where if he strikes in the 10th, he shuts me out. It's match play.
Yeah.
And one of the best bowlers in the history of bowling, really, Mike is.
Yeah.
Is on.
Yeah. Mike, he's talking about Mike Durbin.
Thanks, but I don't want to. So Pete gets up in the 10th. He's finishing the match first, and he had that little waggle at the start.
Yeah.
And Mike throws the ball, I think, on lane 1. And he's coming up to the pocket, and he starts running it out across the lanes. So now he's on 2. Now he's on 3. Pete's on 5, and Pete's like this. All of a sudden, Mike goes like he doesn't get the strike. Oh. And Pete looks over. He left the flat 10. Wham! Throws the ball down. And he's going, and now he goes on the rant about this, that, and everything. And Charlie's sitting there. He flat 10s. Striking a field ball. I come up, beat him by a pin. He's beside himself. And Charlie's like, he says, he said, I'm telling, like, well, when me and Pete and Charlie travel together, I went like this to Charlie. Just crack that door just enough. Just to get the breath, just to get that nostril in. But Pete had
isn't that when he said he was all pissed off at Durbin?
Yeah.
Well, and Mike ran the Bible study.
Yes.
Right?
I didn't want to say that. Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to say a little off-color word, but Pete is so pissed off, and Pete used to go up and like instead of like doing this, he'd grab his leg, and he was just like this. Excuse my friend. Fuck him. He didn't know Angel.
He was.
Oh, was Pete mad? Oh, Jesus God, was he mad?
He came to my house twice to pick me up over the years. Once in a Thunderbird Super Coupe, brand new, and another time he came in a Pontiac van, a Montana van, and we were bowling the winter, and we go from Dallas, Grand Prairie, over to Florida to bowl Kendall and then Rafi's place or whatever, right? So the first year we're in the Super Coupe and we're driving, okay, and we're in that little panhandle Alabama has, like Mississippi, Alabama's that little thing comes down towards the Gulf, and we go across. We're going across that. It looks like it's on the map. It looks like nothing, but it's probably 50, 60 miles. And Pete never wanted to do anything. Pete, you want to stop? I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop. You want to get a soda? No, I don't want a soda. I want nothing. So we're driving from Texas. We're there, and I said, Pete, why don't we stop? And it's early in the evening. It's still light, but it's like dusk. And you look over. I looked over the sign. There was a carnival, one of them carnivals that the rides around the trucks. Now this is going back early 80s.
Yeah.
And so I said to Pete, come on, let's do a carnival. I don't got a carnival. I said, well, tell you what, why don't we get off? We'll get a hot dog and a soda, and I'll get back in and I'll drive for the next 3-4 hours. Okay, we get out. So I got some popcorn and I'm throwing it in my mouth. He's behind me and we're looking, walking. Now, these carnies in those days, they had some things that today wouldn't be allowed. You look over and there's a spot and there's a kangaroo in a cage. from here down. And there's a bet you can bet. And the thing is, whatever you bet, if you last 1 minute with the kangaroo boxing up close, because the kangaroo's in a cage, you can't move.
Yeah.
You double your money. We'll double your money. You can bet up whatever the limit was. But and alcohol plays a tremendous factor in this thing. Well, there's these three guys. One guy's really paced it, and they got him, and they're massaging him. And the kangaroo has gloves on. They look like peach baskets. They're gigantic, but they're down here. And it wasn't a full grown kangaroo. It wasn't a full grown. It was like probably only ready kangaroo, probably only 100 pounds, which means it could probably only bench about 300. So the guys over there, the guys are rubbing him. Look at him. You're bigger than him. And we're like, and here's Pete. What are we doing here? This is stupid. I don't want to. I said to Pete, I'll never forget. I looked over. I said, wait a minute. We might be. I witnessed to a homicide. This could be pretty good here. So they get the gloves on him. Now you have to go right up to the kangaroo. Can't move. You have to go right up to him, and you just got to keep pawing and moving around everything like this, right? And the guy goes like this with a little bell, right? Ting, almost like the guy with the triangle in the orchestra, and just like this. All you saw was this. Okay, now the gloves are right here, like Mike Tyson used to come out, and the guy's in there, and he's pawing around. 1 minute. They got the timer on. 1 minute, he's going, and you hear him, and Pete's looking, because remember, Pete's father was a great boxer.
Yeah.
Pete's father was a professional boxer that was ranked in the world, right? Oh. And all of a sudden, this kangaroo goes like this through the guy's guard, and the guy's face vanishes because it's all the glove, right? The guy falls like a sequoia tree. He's out like a light. He's sober immediately because they have the clicker, the ammonia under here, and you see the guy. Oh, what happened? These are two guys. You cost us $100. That's what happened, right? The guy's face was red. It was the imprint of the glove was on it. And as soon as the guy fell, and the guy goes ding. You see this? Goes right down, right? And Pete, now here's Pete. That was great. That was fantastic. we go to Kendall. He can't stop telling everybody about it. With the boxer guy in there, boom, bang. Okay. So 2 years later, making a trip again, this time in the Montana, we get into Florida. This is the best one. Come to Florida. Now he sees the carnival. And I'm like, I had trouble sleeping in the car, you remember?
Yeah.
And he shakes me, he said, Hutch, there's another carnival. You want to go? Yeah. But I'm not, yeah. So we go over. Here he's looking. He thinks he's going to see the same guys. And he's looking. Nothing, right? Up on the hill, they got a ring set up. A boxing ring. And I go, wow. So here's Pete like this. Come here. Look at this. Come here. You ready? In this corner over here, on a folding chair, there's about an 80-pound chimpanzee. I had a friend of mine that I met here that used to be a football player for the University of South Carolina on the line. He got in the ring and wrestled a bear, a black bear. And he went to a psychiatrist for 6 months because the bear was trying to break his spine.
Sure.
He was hitting him so hard. Right. But anyway, this isn't allowed anymore, right? And he's sitting there in the Indian position, legs are crossed, and he's just like this, Fef. He's going like this. Yeah. Well, of course, here's a guy, 3 sheets to the wind, boom, bang, the guys. But now you got to go out and fool around for a minute. The chimp, he's not going to box. What's he going to do? Is he going to figure he can run around or whatever, right? Now this one is this, blows the whistle. Now the guy's in the corner like Butcher Vachon, he's loosened up, he's going to turn around. They blow that whistle. That chimp came off that chair, and he's knuckling across faster than Cheetah did in any Tarzan movie. By the time the guy turns around, ready? By the time the guy turns around, he's got him under his chin and by the crotch. Body slams him. The guy's a deuce, easy. Body slams him. As the dust is still coming up and the guy's starting to look up, chin, bang, 4 times. On the 4th time, Pete's like screaming, kill him. Pete's on his mind. All you hear is this very faint little from this big monstrous guy. All you could hear was this, help. It's on your help. And next thing you know, they blow up. Right, they stop and the guy comes out and they're dragging him back and blow the whistle. Chimp goes right back in the chair. He's like this. And the guys and Pete says, "Well, that's fantastic." He said, I said, "Well, if any kind of luck, we'll have a couple more carnivals. Maybe we'll see somebody get killed." But Charlie, tell him about the time when you guys came back from England playing the darts. Why Pete didn't want to play with you?
Oh yeah. Oh,
triple 20.
Yeah.
They were playing for money.
Oh yeah. We went. Yeah, we went to the Grand Prix of London. This is 82. Yeah, it was 84. It was me and Bakes. Me and Bakes stayed together at the hotel. Anyway, so we go across the street, and we were bored to death. So we go across the street, me and Pete and Bakes, and Pete and I end up buying a dartboard.
Of course.
And darts. We don't even know how much money. They gave us all these coins, and they were like, one was 10 pence, and one was 3 pounds, and I don't know what the hell we got. I just handed up, opened up my hand with the money and say, "Well, take whatever I owe you." They could have took $1,000 for all I knew, So we get the dartboard and we're playing, and we started playing, and almost everybody on that trip was playing darts.
Bruce Carter.
I mean, and
Jimmy
Weber,
Pritz.
Pritz, and we all started playing darts, and then we would go especially when we went to Indianapolis. They had they had six places because they had dart leagues, and everywhere we went, I mean, it was terrific. But God, I'm trying to remember the whole story.
They're playing in the room, and Charlie's got the dartboard on the door.
Go ahead.
Charlie's got the dartboard up on the door. So Pete is at 5'7", and Charlie at 6'5.5" or 6'6".
Oh,
Charlie is right on line with the triple 20. Zing. Pete is looking up like he's looking at Mount Everest. Okay? He happens to be on line with the triple 19. So he decides to shoot that. And Charlie is beating him all the time when he's fuming. I said, the triple 20's up here. I got to arc it into it. Charlie's just putting the line. I said, well, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm losing money. I'm going in. He was a very hard loser.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, even when we used to play the numbers game.
Oh, geez. Oh yeah.
Pfeff, you know what that is?
I do. I think I talked to both of you about it in separate shows.
And I mean, Pete one time didn't want to play. There's 10 of us. Didn't want to play. Charlie talks him into playing. And we say, we'll split the bill in half. Whoever loses the first game, always half, same game. But you could play 2 halves, right? So anyway, first half, Pete gets stuck with the number, whatever half the bill is. He's fuming. He's not going to play again. He plays again, and he gets wedged where it's his number. It's the number, his number.
Oh,
and as soon as he says the number he says, Charlie yells at the top of his lungs, "Check!" He goes, "Just one." He goes like that. And Pete is beside himself. He's fuming. Oh my God.
Oh, the 1 year the summer tour. It's me, Jimmy Pritz, and Tommy Hudson and Pete. And Pete bought every gimmick club known to man, to hit the ball either longer or straighter.
Oh yeah.
Right. So anyway, we're bowling a gable house, so we're in LA somewhere. So first hole goes out. It's like a 90-degree dog leg to the right, and there's this big hill. On the right. So anyway, Pete, he pulls the bag out and he pulls this cover off of this club, and I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And it was like a mallet. It looked like a mallet.
Yeah.
It was metal on one side and plastic on the other, anti-slice. Right.
That means double slice.
So anyway, I'm in the cart with Hudson, and Pete's stabbing the tee in the ground, and I said to Tommy, I goes, "We both know where this ball's going, don't we?" And Hudson goes, "I'm going to guess it's going to go to the top of that hill." And the hill's like right there, I mean, the ball, here comes Pete's swing, and he hit the ball, and it was like a rocket, just and he stabbed the thing, and I got, "Son of a bitch."
That's him.
Oh God. He was so much fun.
Pfeff, if you didn't know him, you wouldn't like him.
Okay.
Remember the comic strip in Mad Magazine, Spy versus Spy?
Yeah.
All you had to do was put the hat on Pete. He had the thick. Charlie had the square glasses and he had the pointy nose. He came to my house. We stayed at my house, and my mom, Warren Nelson was there.
Beautiful.
Warren Nelson was there, but Warren Nelson can never come back because he burned the hole in the tablecloth. But anyway, Pete, you remember how much salt he used?
Oh God.
If he got a burger, he would salt it white.
Really?
Okay, salt it white, then take a bite, then salt where he'd bit.
Oh my God!
I said to him one day, I said to him one day, Pete, your blood's got to be screaming to come out of your veins. He's looking at me, he goes, 119/72 the last time I was there. Okay, so anyway, my mother's making spaghetti, and she makes the dish, and of course she puts cheese on the dish, and Pete didn't eat cheese. She comes over and serves Pete first because he's the guest, and I can see Pete. I'm sitting over here, and Pete's like this, I said, Mom, and my mother's making my dish now. And I go, Mom, Pete doesn't like cheese. Here's my mother. She's not even looking. That's ridiculous. Everybody likes cheese. She goes like that, right? I said, Mom, no, Pete doesn't like cheese. So I take the dish. I said, please. And she comes over. Now there's a little bit of it. She comes over like, puts it down. Comes over and sits down. And this is Pete. Like he's looking at the table. Here he is. And my mother goes, what are you looking for? He says, the salt. Now, if you don't know anything about cooking, which we're not chefs, anyone who salts something real heavy, it's all he's going to taste. He can't taste any food.
Right.
So my mother goes and gets the salt shaker. But the salt shaker isn't even on the table when we have macaroni. And here he is. And I mean, it made it look like that 7-foot snowstorm in Buffalo was a flurry. And she's watching. He uses half the salt shaker.
Oh my gosh.
And then he eats the top layer and he salts it again. My mother was very embarrassed because she took it like he didn't even give it a chance. I said, Mom,
like it was a slight. Yeah.
So later on, we left, and she didn't say anything. But I'll never forget when she said to me, Joe, she says, Pete's very nice. Pete's a very nice man. She goes, yes, he's a little homely, but he says, but he's a very nice. I said, well, Mom, I said he's. I tell you, if you ever wanted a guy in a foxhole with you, that was Pete.
Yeah.
He bite, scratch, and kick. He played 18 holes of golf with the late Richie Caruba when Richie was a big guy with Storm. And he told me he was playing 18 holes the next day. I said to him, you're going to feel like you went 3 rounds with the champ. I said, he's going to wear you out. So the next couple of days later, I called him. I said, how'd it go? He said, after 5 holes, I wanted to quit. He exhausted me. He bitches every shot. My God, he said, it's nonstop. I said, what I tell you. I said, what did you shoot? I said to Richie, what did you shoot? I normally shoot like 80, 82. What'd you shoot? I said, 94. I just couldn't wait to get out of there. I said, how about Pete? 104. He said he got robbed every shot was he got robbed. I mean, I played him pool. I played him ping pong. I played him tennis. And he was good at everything, but I'm not bragging. He just wasn't that good. And I'm by far not a pro at any of them, but I was able to play pretty good. So I played him pool. The first time I ever played him pool, I said, I'm racking up. We're going to play 8-ball. He says, I don't want to play 8-ball. What do you want to play? He says, 9-ball. 9, okay, play 9-ball. He said, here he is with the chalk. What are we playing for? Nothing. I don't play for nothing. He goes, I can't play unless we play for money. Okay. We'll play $1 on the 9 and 50 cents on the 5. He goes, okay. 20 minutes later, I got him for like $7.50, right? And he goes, let's up the bet. Pete, I'm rooming with him. Pete, I don't want to up the bet. Yeah, let's up it. He says, let's take it to $2 and $1. Anyway, we leave. He owes me $30. And I said, I got the time. Years ago, the time was $1 an hour. So I go over. I owe like about $1.70 for $2. I said to the guy, it's $2. I go out to the car. I think I had the Mercury Marquis at the time, but I go out to the car. The windows are fogged, like 2 people are in there making out. It's just him. That's how mad he was. I get in the car, and he's cursing at me. And I said, Pete, what's the matter? Yeah. He said, I came to play pool. I didn't come to the theater. I said, Pete, I didn't want to play you for any money. I said, you wanted to play, and then you wanted to up it. Yeah. I said, I'm sorry. I said, and I wanted to say to him, if you think you're going to give your money back, forget it. But I didn't, and I mean, then he was a very good tennis player, He won when he stopped bowling. He for a while he played tennis till he was in his 70s, early 70s, and ran every day. And was tennis. Pete couldn't put an ounce on Charlie if he tried.
Yeah,
he couldn't put an ounce on if he tried. He could eat anything he wanted. It made no difference. Made no difference. And he could always coming out with gimmicks, for strength. Okay. Remember, here's a name for you, Sal Rapaciulo, Charlie.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Okay, well, Sal's traveling with me when I first went out before I was going with Bakes. And Pete takes some thing out for wrist, straighten your wrist. But it's plastic. It's cheap. Yeah. Sal, I think Sal could have bent steel bars. He was unbelievable. So Pete says, "Here, try it." And Sal goes like this. It goes like this. Right? It's turned all the way around. He gives it to Pete. In 5 minutes, here's Pete cursing, yelling at him, "You're broken, good rod." And he says, "You asked me to turn it. I just turned it." And Pete couldn't turn it 3 notches. Sal he came right around. Oh. He was. I'm sorry the Bakes left because me and Charlie could tell you about at Magic Mountain, the Colossus.
Oh, geez.
Me and Charlie were in the first seat, and behind us, as white-knuckled as you ever saw anybody in your life, Tommy and Lou Celebre. And guess what? We wouldn't let them get off. We went out 5 times in a row. And they were scared to death. They would. I mean, me and Charlie's in the front. He's like this, and I'm like, as we're going over, I'm like this. And then you turn around, the two of them are in the back like this. Jesus, yes,
yeah, we were driving to. Where the hell were we driving to? We were driving to Northern California.
Yeah.
And we drove by Magic Mountain. Hutch goes, "Hey, let's stop." Yeah, okay. And they're like, no, bullshit. We need to stop. No, we don't want to stop. And while Hutch is driving, it's his car.
That's right.
In we go. Yeah. In we go. Yeah. Oh God, they were.
Me and Charlie, the first time we ever went to Knott's Berry Farm, we were on the one like this. The one that was like a dragster at the start. Well, it didn't look like much, so we get on it. Once we got on it, and and it was crazy because the rules are you have to get off and to go back on, right?
Okay.
And I don't know how many times we ran in a row.
We rode until we were sick.
First car, last car. I mean, you've seen these rides, Pfeff, where you sit down and you're launched at like you're at 70 miles an hour and nothing flat and up and around, and then you go up to the top and then back and around through.
Yep.
I mean,
I've seen them at a distance because I'm not getting anywhere near that kind of thing.
Oh, that is.
We rode everything.
They were beautiful. They were beautiful, and there was a couple. I mean, me and Charlie were okay with all of it, and the guys that Roy Buckley just passed not long ago, and I'm going to tell you what I put. Louis Moore put on Facebook the best bowler in the history of Columbus, Ohio ever has passed. And and there's been a lot of great bowlers from Columbus, Ohio.
Sure.
And I put on, I said, arguably and Charlie, I probably agree with this, arguably one of the funniest men I ever met in my life was Roy.
Oh, without a doubt.
And I never heard him tell a joke. And I seldom ever heard him laugh at something. If you remember MASH, martini that Hawkeye wanted. Drier, driest. I want dust on the olive. That was Roy Buckley's sense of humor. He was unbelievably dry. Asher told me this great story. They're bowling the classic team finals, the roll-off. Buckley, Barry Asher's uncle, Norm Myers.
That's Barry Asher's uncle?
No, I tell him that all the time. I said, "Where was Uncle Norm? Second?" Barry Asher, Nelson Byrne Jr.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, Nelson Byrne Jr. and Bud Horn. Good team. And they won it one year, lost by a pin, won it the next year, and lost the next year by 2 pins. This is a great team. Okay. So Norm, who was the baron of micromanagement. Norm, I can still see Norm with the towel in between the fingers, checking. Is the 5 behind the 1? Is the 3 behind the 9? Is the 8 behind the 2? I mean, everything. Yeah. And then he finally get up. The hair had to be perfect, and the shirt. He'd iron the little pinches where the hanger was. But he was beautiful. He was a beautiful man. And he says to Barry, and Barry's sitting there, and it was a time when you had to step up on the approach. He says to Barry, he says, "Look at the 7 pin. I can't believe he's going to shoot that. Look at where the 7 pin is." So Buckley, paying attention, he's up. He always had that ever-present towel with him, like this. Finally, he gets his chance to go. He goes up, and he gets here, and he gives it that. the Sphinx face, and he goes up, snow plows a little bit at the end. He used to snow plow to stop, and he kind of, when he run one out, he looked like driftwood. It'd be like, right? So 10 pins horizontal into the back. Comes back, gets a towel. Barry says, rack comes down. Norm says, look at it. It's worse than last time. Oh, my God. The match is so close. I can't believe he's going to shoot. I can't believe he's not even looking at it, Buckley. Right? 10 horizontal, 10 in the pit. So now it's the fill ball.
Yeah.
He comes back and everything. So Norm's not saying a word. So Roy gets the ball. He's ready to step up on the approach, and he turns around with the ball in his hand, looks at Norm like I'm looking at myself in the camera, and just goes like this to him. How's that 7-pin look now, Norm? turns around, gets into a shot, 10 back.
Wow.
Walks by. Barry said, Hutch, at the time, I never laughed harder in my life than that. Norm, he goes by. Norm's mouth is just hanging down by his waist. And Buckley goes by. You know what he said to him? Hey, Norm, if there's 10 up, I'm shooting. Walks away. Buckley was what a character.
Oh, yeah. Remember, we were in St. Louis, and it was right after the Rabbit. And some of the guys had come in and practice on Monday night after the Rabbit.
Was that the Rabbit that Larry Matthews blamed you for missing?
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, it might have been. Yeah. And so we're sitting there, and here comes Buckley out of the paddock with an LT-48 on each shoulder, and he puts them down on a pair. And there's all these guys that just got them bowling the Rabbit. And Hutch and I are watching them. One ball in one lane, one on the other. Strike. Half hour. No exaggeration. Half hour.
Phenomenal.
Easily. Unbelievable. Right? Gets his towel. He's sweating. Puts the two balls on the shoulder. Looks at all the guys that are around. And he goes, this is how you do it. Into the paddock. Out the door and away he went. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I was bowling next to him in Cleveland when you're a Buckeye. Sitting in the chairs, you move them. And, there was always the local guys on every pair. And some of the guys came out, was Yellow Dot time. Yellow Dot was the first time I ever felt like I was cheating because I grew up with a rubber bowling ball.
Yeah. And
this ball really, turned and everything. And Buckley was dead accurate. I mean, 5'7", you can't bet a 3'10", 6'7", 10. It's hard to bet against him because he's either going to pick the 10 off clean or make it. But so the guy on the pair with me, spares were really exciting with this guy. So Buckley decides that we're going to bet on spares. He says, flip the coin, who gets the do or the don't, right? So I win. I get the don't, that he's not going to make it. Buckley gets the do that he is going to make it, right? So we go for the last two games, we're going like a nickel on spares, on 1-pin spares only.
Okay.
Going into the 10th frame of the 6th game, you ready? I got Buckley for like 35 cents. Right? And I said to him, the kid leaves the 4-pin first shot in the 10th. And I said to Bucks, we played backgammon, you give the guy the cube. I said, double or nothing. I said, he doesn't make it. Buckley goes, he's got to make it. He said, if he just keeps it on the lane, it always goes over there. He goes, all right. The kid throws the ball, and honest to God, this all happens like in seconds, because how long does it take a bowling ball to get down the lane? It's out too far. It's not going to make it. All of a sudden it turns. Now it's going to make it. It goes in the gutter in front of the 4-pin, bounces out in front of the 4-pin. That's how sharp it went in the gutter.
Wow.
Buckley throws the towel in the air and he goes like this. I'm on my way home. I've seen everything. He goes like that, right? We go into the paddock, and who comes over but Bo? Bo comes over. He's flexing. He said, "This shirt too tight, Bucks?" But he comes over. And he goes like this. He says, "Bucks, how'd you bowl?" And Bucks looks at him and goes, "I don't know. I'm not sure. I never knew that the 2-pin and 4-pin were impossible to make." He said, I must be really bowling good. And he's serious, and Bird don't know, and I'm laughing. And Bird said, what happened? I told him later. He goes, the kid was, the kid, Bo's another guy.
Yeah. Let me catch up on some of these questions just because I've got a few of them for Charlie here. Dana wants to know if you have any good stories of the CBA at Wagner's Bloody Mary Open from your day. And fortunately, I have your postcard pictures, still queued up. So, that's where it was.
Yeah, Joe, I shot, here's the story. I shot 300 there at a CBA, and it was 63 and a half, 64 and a half, right? What was it, 64 and a half lanes? Anyway.
I'm not sure about before the fire. It was 66 and a half after.
Yeah. So anyway, we started bowling in the morning, and the power went out. And after the power went out, I had 300, And so anyway, I was married to Sue at the time, and she was with me. We drive home. And turn on the television, and Jesus Christ, they're showing all this film about this big fire. It was that place. It burned down with an electrical fire.
Right after you bowled?
Right after I bowled, yeah. I got home and the place was a smoldering heap. I mean, it was crazy. So anyway, I told Pfeff about it. A year, I don't know how long ago. But anyway, I was going through some stuff, and that's a postcard that I bought at that place. And that has to be 1972, 3, somewhere in there. Yeah, It's crazy. But yeah, that did it. So anyway, that was my claim to fame there. So.
Yeah. So the postcard, he says on it, it says, "It wasn't my fault," because it has a picture of the fire.
Yeah.
So it had to be after the fire.
Could have been one of the Marlboros I flicked out the window on my way.
Right. Yeah. Moto Fusi wants to know if you've been autographing any dashboards lately.
Oh, that's my friend Randy. He had a brand new Monte Carlo SS.
Oh, all the way long ago?
Yeah. This is 80, early 80s. Yeah. And I brushed, put something on there. There was a little bit of dust, and I kind of, just kind of like that. Well, anyway, it stayed there. So I won't tell you what it is.
I know what it was. It was that thing, that drawing with Chris and me and you at the board.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Will you ever forget that?
No, never. We can't really tell that story.
No, Tapp, Chris.
Yeah.
We were hysterical. And the time me, you and Pete, and you were smoking the nostril, and was blowing on Pete's side. And me and Charlie were hysterical, and Carmen's tapping the water, looking at us, and Joe Antonora asked me and Charlie to leave the room. Remember, he was taking the board. He says, Hutch, can you and Charlie go outside and compose yourself? Jesus Christ.
This was at the executive board meeting.
Yes.
Well, Carmen Salvina kept hitting the water thing with a pen.
Yes.
And it sounded like how it sounds like when you're at a wedding.
Yes.
I want you to kiss the bride.
Yeah.
Oh God, it was so stupid.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're in there with the emperor of all raccoondom, Eddie Elias. And Eddie was great. He's laughing, but Antonora's looking over. He had that mix and match tuxedo on. Yeah, Pfeff, you have no idea. The guys today. I even Mark Baker said to me, because he and Doug, they ball rep for a while, but Mark did. He said the guys on tour, there's always going to be guys that have a good time.
Yeah.
There's always going to be the guys who have a good time. But we played a really good time. There's a lot of tournaments. The money wasn't bad. Charlie makes the one show in Garden City, the great incentives for the Ebonite. He throws the wrong ball. He's on a strike, leaves the 1-2-4-8. Turns around and says to the guy, I threw the wrong ball. He had two identical balls, like just had the only static balances. As soon as he threw it, he liked it. And it left the 1-2-4-8. He goes, what happened? He came back and you heard him. I threw the wrong ball. You remember that?
Yeah. Well, the worst part about it is that the one ball I had the label blacked out, and it had a big giant hole on the axis. The other one was just over the label, and the label was white as snow. Yeah, I'm bowling Amleto. Amleto's thrown it all over the place. I still don't know how I lost it.
You had him.
Yeah, and so anyway, I'm like, what the hell? And the ball just was dead straight. And I come back and I'm like, oh shit, I threw the wrong one.
Yeah.
I mean, if I would have said anything, nobody would have known it.
No.
They just, nobody would have said anything. I mean, I still hear about it today. And that's 40 years ago. almost 40 years ago.
You know, they have the bloopers on TV all the time.
Yeah.
Now they have the films. The one blooper that's not on is which one, Fef? The one blooper of all time is not on.
Oh gosh, I have.
Well,
no
there's
idea.
you remember Dell's gutter ball,
Of course.
but Dell, that was he just he's looking 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he gets it out a little bit. It gets on the edge and it drops in, right? Okay, I understand that, right? And then there's Marshall with the double gutter ball.
Mm-hmm.
Marshall threw a double gutter. Eagle threw a double gutter ball. Larry Lobb at the Firestone Tournament Champions dropped the ball. Ball was in the gutter. Or you see Sean Rash once in a while. They show that one when he leaves the 3, 6, 9, 10, and he flags all 4. The only one you don't see is the one with Don Janello. And Don is great. He's me and Jimmy Pritz and me and Peter in the bar at the Gable House. It's right up, right. The show's right here. We're right there, and then we're watching it live here, right? And Don was great in the tent. Boy, he was nails in the tent, and he had one. I don't know how many games on TV in the tent frame, Dublin in the tent or whatever, right? So so he. You probably know this stuff, but anyway, he gets. I search for it. It doesn't come up because I wanted to get the kids that never saw it, right? And it wasn't to make fun of Don because I had enough bloopers on the show and I wasn't trying, but just so he gets the first strike in the 10th and they go, "Congratulations, Don Janello, winner, Southern California Open."
Okay.
Remember they put that up when the guy for the Mets caught the second. No, not the Mets. The guy for the Red Sox caught the second ball. Congratulations, Boston Red Sox, world champions, right? So me and Peter said, and Don throws the first ball, strike. Tournament's over. Throws the next ball, Greek Church. Picks the ball up out of the ball return, throws in the gutter about 10 feet past the arrows, just walks up, throws it. Loses by a pin.
Oh,
okay, right now, and we also asked Don about it. And Don, if you ever get him on the show, he'll tell you. He told me, he said, "Hutch, if I had left a solid 10, I thought I'd lost. I thought I needed a double."
Oh.
So once I didn't get the strike, and they had the staircase leading up to the paddock, and then nothing flat down, and so he had a ball cat. He was walking up with him, and we but Pete, as soon as the ball goes in the gutter, because the guy said he needs like 1 or 2 pins, and Don could have hit the 6 pin with his eyes shut or the 4 pin, and he lost count.
Yeah, he just got the.
He runs out.
Fritz
don't know what happened. If you ever see the show, you look at that Jimmy's face. It's like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And Jimmy, Pete comes running out, grabs him. You won. And he goes, and Jimmy, I can remember Jimmy go, but what do you mean? What happened? And you remember the look on Norm's face when Mika missed the 10 pin?
Yeah.
He starts crying. He was just crying. I just struck out to make him show up.
Mm-hmm.
The 10 pin was good enough. That would have struck any other time. It might have been the only 10 pin Mika missed the whole tournament.
Right.
Might have. But you put the guy in a position to do something like Ernie with Randy with the solid 8.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's what are you going you try to get the guy in a position to do something like Bill Coleman. With 5, you need 3. I got 2. You're out. Oh God, the guys.
Yeah.
So BSJ83 wants to know if you have any behind-the-scenes stories about Earl Anthony, particularly when you faced him in the PBA national title match.
Any behind-the-scenes stories? Well, I mean, there was a couple of things on the show that happened on the show, and the one is first of all, on Friday he wasn't happy on Friday. On Friday, the night of the finals, because there was a friend of mine that was at a radio show in Toledo, and I'd go on there, and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, I had a little bit of a following, and a lot of those people were there on Friday night, and they were cheering for me a little bit louder than they were for Earl.
Sure.
And he didn't like that.
Yeah.
And it was, and so he had kind of a bug up his butt about that. But the other thing was, like when we went to the commercial, he was coming off the approach and I was going on the approach, and a couple of the guys that were sitting there it was Bud Fisher.
Yeah.
It was Bud Fisher, who was a tour press director.
Him and Espo.
Yeah. And they got up and they walked right in front of us. And Earl's coming off the approach, and I'm getting up. And he looks at me and he goes,
yeah, well, WTF, yeah.
Yeah, he goes, he said, Charlie, we're bowling for $38,000. What the hell are these guys doing? I mean, he was really pissed off about it. I mean, the match is close, and it's, they just get up and you can see it. You can see it on the tape of the show.
Yeah.
Them going. And then the other one was, I wanted a re-rack. And this was, I don't know, the second or third frame, whatever it was. Anyway, so Harry Golden, there was like a pecking order. It was Espo, Harry Golden, Bud Fisher, and Chuck Pisano was in there somewhere. But anyway, so I want a re-rack, and Harry Golden is he's opening up a peppermint.
Yes.
And remember that, Hutch? Yeah, he's opening up a peppermint.
He used to have them down there.
Something was on fire. It's crackling. And I go, what the hell? And he's got the headset on, and I'm going, goose. And to get his attention. Because he's with
he's down here looking, yeah.
Yeah. And it's crackling and it's making noise. And because the place was, you could hear a pin drop in that place. No pun intended.
Right.
You could hear a pin drop in that place. There's 1,000 people in there.
Oh, at least.
It was unbelievable, because it was a really big deal, you know. And but anyway, those would be the only ones that I could possibly.
Charlie bowled good at Toledo. Not being a wise guy, the year before, where'd you finish the year before?
25th. I just missed.
25th.
I just missed the finals.
Yeah, but you and me, we predicted that you would make the show the next year.
Yeah.
We predicted because he learned how to. Not that Charlie was a great track player, but this place here was really. The longer you could keep it in there, the better. Burton always bowled good there. Norm bowled good. Weber bowled good. And the lefties didn't bowl good there. They boycotted for a while, but Earl won it there 3 years in a row because they didn't want to lose. The lefties boycotted. They didn't come to the tournament years ago. And how are you going to have PBA National Championship and not have Dave Davis, Earl Anthony, Johnny Petraglia, all the guys? So look, let's be serious. They played a game. Mm-hmm. They played a game. And I can never sit there and some guy comes over. He was with the press, and he was there interviewing some of the bowlers. Charlie, I'll never forget this. He said to Chuck Pierce, he goes, who wins this week? And he goes, Earl wins. He said, well, 3 in a row and $100,000. He needed to go over 100,000, right?
Million. Needed to go over
million. Oh, sure, a million. He was going to go over the million. He said he'll do it here, and I'll be a son of. This was before we bowled the game. Oh. And he did it, and it's there's all kinds of stories about if when the guys were out there that who made for good television, and Charlie was I was out a little bit before Charlie, and I was out there when Mark was and Earl were just exchanging bowlers of the year, and Marshall was right there. Marshall was like Phil Mickelson when Tiger was the golfer of the year. If Tiger never plays golf, Mickelson's golfer of the year 7-8 times in a row. But this is what it is, right? Mm-hmm. And boy, when Mark and Marshall were on the show, the ratings were out of sight. They love to see them two guys, and yet they won the doubles twice or 3. They're best of friends, but when they bowled each other, there was no love lost. They at the end of the match, nice, but during the match, it was the way it was supposed to be. I'll never take a pin from you, but I'll be damned if I'll give you one.
Right.
And that's that. And Marshall, I talk to Marshall once in a while. I text him and stuff. We talking, and he was. I'll tell you this one. Marshall probably bowled one of the best games I've ever seen in my life. I've been lucky to bowl some real good ones, and so is Charlie and everything. We were bowling at Jerry Roy's place in Austin, Highland Bowl. You make the show.
Right, yeah.
Marshall leads by 550, right? He leads second by 550 pins. Jeez. 540 pins. He's in that slump of making the shows where he's not winning.
Yeah.
He's not winning on the show. You bowled you qualified second you bowled Sutar. Sutar.
Yeah.
Okay. Lanes were really, really tight. And it was before urethane, and I'm throwing a caramel and a white dot, and I got a yellow dot. Freddie's there watching. Tommy made the finals, and Freddie's over me, and I know where I'm standing. I know where I'm throwing, and I'm not bragging. I could make the ball change direction, but Marshall could. Marshall curved the lane.
Yeah.
Mark didn't hook the ball a lot. Roth, he didn't hook the ball a lot. The ball you never saw Mark throwing this way. Marshall, I mean, wow. And that soft wrist roll and everything, he was beautiful to watch. And I start the match, and I start with 4 strikes in a row. So I'm going to finish the match first. So Marshall comes up, and he's going to bowl. He starts 1. I bowl 1, 2. He goes 2, 3. He comes up. Anyway, I'm talking to Freddie, and I happen to turn around, and Marshall's going to throw his ball. He's standing. He's against the ball return almost. There's not a doubt in my mind if he's throwing the ball to 10 pin.
Okay.
He has to be. He's throwing it at a rack. He's throwing angles. They would just come out. And, well, they were out for a while, and he just had that roll. And I watched where it went, and when it came back and struck, this is exactly what I said to Fred Saya. I said, "Did you ever have a feeling like you were hunting polar bear with a slingshot?" I looks at me, he goes, "I ain't got a chance this game." He said, "You got 4 in a row." Yeah, I know. So the next frame I come up, I'm going for 5 in a row. I missed by a little bit. I think I missed it off my hand here. It's got to be a wall shot, right? You think a chance? How about the bucket with the 7 pin?
Ugh.
I make the spare bowl 224 clean, 9 spare strike, Dutch out. Marshall, first 11. I mean, just I'm mesmerized watching him.
Yeah.
12 shot off his hand, and he just runs at it. It comes back, and 6 pin. I don't know if the 6 pin ever came down. It's 10 pin, and I run out on the approach, and he looks at me, and he's like, I'm running up. He don't know. I grab him, and I said, "Marshall, congratulations." I said, "That's the best effing game I've ever seen bowled in my life." Yeah. He looks at me. I said, "You know why? Because I'm on the pair with you." I said, if I was on that pair or that pair, you know what I would think? That pair's hooking in my arse.
Yeah.
I saw the difference in the way he threw the ball, and at that time of my life, the way I threw it. And I mean, I put Marshall's physical game, and I talked to Asher and a couple guys about it. It's one of the greatest I ever saw.
Yeah.
And you know why, Fef?
What was that?
Because he was in his finishing position when he started.
It's kind of true.
He started down.
And
Charlie and I start up, and our head goes down gradually to the release point. Marshall was at his release point when he started. You know who copied him? Del Ballard.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Del told me, he was my idol. So Del didn't go down and rock it. Del had his legs out kind of straight out. But Del, same thing, right down. Never come up.
Yep.
We had to go down. Marshall was, he was absolutely poetry when he was poetry.
Hey, that's how two-handers now are.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're leading over like that.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Simonson. Yeah.
Oh God, that's the best touch on tour. That guy.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
It's really fantastic to watch them. I know some of the guys that don't like it. They wanted barred and stuff like that. It's never going to be barred. But here's, I'm 75 years old. I started bowling the junior league when I was 12. So that's 63 years. It's 1961.
Okay.
And all the time until I saw Belmonte bowl on TV, I never saw anybody in my life throw the ball that didn't have any problems now with 2 hands. Ever. Not even fooling in the junior league. Okay. You know why? Because the best bowlers in the world bowl like this. And so you mimic the best in the world. All of a sudden, when Belmonte's on TV, the people that start throwing 2 hands was ridiculous. I talked to you about this last time, Fef.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Miller. Okay, Charlie can tell this story better than anybody. Let me preface it. You take it, Charlie. You bowled the doubles with Mike in Vegas. Me and Bakes bowl. We made the finals. You guys didn't make the cut. We're sitting in the restaurant eating, and Mike and you were talking, and now we bowled 18 games each, Fifth. There's 36 games.
Okay.
Mike said to you, Charlie, if we carried one more week 10, a block each, that's 42 pins times 3. That's 126 pins. We're in the finals. One.
Yep. One.
And he said to you, I'm going home and I won't be back till I learn how to strike.
Yeah.
So tell him when you and Marlis went down to the bowling alley what you saw in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
So he was with a thumb back then.
He was.
Yes.
Yeah. He was with a thumb.
Yes.
I mean, he threw it straighter than I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and so anyway, Marlis Sunday we go bowl this mixed doubles thing at Samstown, and this is whatever year it was, 92 or whatever. I don't know what year it was, but anyway. So we go there, and I go to get down to the bottom of the escalator, and Mike happens to be bowling, and he's bowling with his sister Dana. And he goes, "Hey, Charlie, come here. What do you think of this?" Right? And he's standing there, no thumb on the ball. And I mean, I'd never seen a ball strike that much in my life. He goes, "Do you think I should bowl like this?" And I go, "Mike, are you out of your mind?" I said, "Absolutely." And I mean, they just ran him over. I don't think they won the tournament. They finished like second or third. Okay. But he just ran him over.
And he told Charlie, he said he started with a 10-pounder.
Yeah.
And he got up to throw 16, but it hurt his wrist. Mm-hmm. He said 15 was easy. 14, he said, actually was too angular at the back. He would overthrow it and hit it, right?
Too much on
so he comes on the tour, he bowls 300 on television, wins 2 tournaments, one of them being a major, the PBA National Championship.
Yep. And
we actually have a meeting. I'm on the tournament committee. Lenny Nicholson comes in and says, "What do we do about the guy with no thumb?" And Goose goes, "What do you mean?" You know what Lenny said? He has unlimited right.
Yeah.
He has unlimited right. He said, something we've never seen before. So what do we do? So there was a little bit of, there had to be a little bit of a change in whatever happened, right? So Mike was the game changer that I put in after Roth. Roth was a game changer. Then Mike.
And the other thing with Mike is that he can make a spare.
Oh, as soon as he left the spare, he had that red pearl hammer.
Yeah.
And he put his thumb, he was deadly.
Yeah. I mean, because he was so accurate with throwing it straight and hard, from just his normal game. I mean, he never missed anything then.
No.
He just couldn't get straight.
And a character, how about his body English? He was a riot. He was a riot. He'd come back, he'd make like he'd make like there was something wrong with him, like he was. I mean, you didn't know what he'd come back like an Egyptian. I mean, it was.
He's the funniest. I mean, he was unbelievably funny.
Yeah.
I mean, just now, I hadn't talked to Mike in a little while, but I know he was. I knew he was sick there for a while.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
Mike said the last time I saw him, Mike said to me, "You and I were out doing the Q&A in Vegas at the Showboat, and Goose used to always come in and say, 'Charlie, you and Hutch want to do the Q?' Yeah, we were." So Denny Schreiner's doing a thing. He's handing a microphone back and forth, and the bowlers would start to come out, and we knew it was time to stop. But there was one guy on the left down here, and it was heckling us. He wouldn't shut up. Right? So finally, last question, and then he gives me the mic, and he said, you. I said, "Save your breath." I said, "You'll need it later to blow up your inflatable date." I went like that, right? And the place start roaring. He walking back, and Goose is looking at me, and a couple of guys, Mike was went like this, and they go like this. That was fantastic. I said, "Not my line, it's Rodney's." Same thing. Like I didn't know it was her turn. It's one of them things, and the guy we never stopped yelling. The guy.
Yeah. Oh God.
We just had enough, right? We have. Larry Matthews is, Fef?
I don't know.
Oh my God. We could do a couple hours on him, just him. But Larry.
Oh, just him alone, yeah.
Larry, me and Charlie, Bakes, Kachi, we befriended him. Yeah. Not a lot of the guys on tour liked him. He was a little peculiar. God bless him. He was handicapped, and he was very smart. And he had no trouble telling you that if you're going to have an even conversation with him, he'd have to have one of his lobes of his brain removed. That's the way, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's the way he was, right?
Yeah.
And we took him in when nobody else would travel with him or anything. And I mean, we abused him. And I tell you what, Fef, let me tell you something. He loved it because nobody else would even talk to him. Mm-hmm. We'd be eating. And remember, he'd get 2 eggs, a large milk, everything where you need calcium for my.
Yeah, got calcium for whatever.
And he'd get to the punchline, and then me and Charlie and Kachi would take turns telling the punchline. He'd be sitting like this, "You know what happened then?" And we'd go, he said, he goes, "You guys know." And God bless him. But the Charlie, Me and Bakes leave for. We're in Peoria. We leave for
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
No, we were going to Peoria.
We're in St. Louis. We leave for Peoria.
Yeah.
And me, Bake. He's rooming. Oh God, he's rooming with Kachi. This was the 5 best. He's rooming with Kachi. Me and Tom are leaving, going to bowl early pro-ams, and Larry has to be there at a certain hour because he has to have balls drilled. He can't drill them for himself because he really didn't have the strength to pull the thing, right?
Okay.
What was the name of the restaurant down the street?
Coco's.
So Charlie's telling me the story. He goes, me and Bakes leave. He's dressed. He thinks that they're leaving. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. And he goes like, knocks on the door. Charlie comes to the door. His underwear, and he's like this, putting his glasses on. His hair's all over the place. And what's up? And Larry goes, you're not ready yet? He goes, well, no. He says, we're just getting up. Kachi is snoring so loud. It sounds like someone's got a chainsaw in there. And he's telling Larry that Kachi's just going in the bathroom, and I'll be right. Okay. He goes down to Coco's, and he gets something to eat.
Now, Fef, the hotel is a red roof.
Okay.
And it's on top of a hill.
Okay.
And the hill goes down, and then there's like a strip mall, and then you have to go across the street, and then that's where Coco's is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So and it's 10 below. I don't know, 15 below, something like that, right? And he's knocking on the door. The door's open. God, he's sound asleep. I'm in my underwear. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, Kachi's gonna get, we'll be ready to go shortly, you know.
Yeah, shortly.
So anyway, he keeps knocking on the door. So I went back to him, and this is 15 minutes later. I said, listen, why don't you go down to Coco's and have something, have something to eat, and come back, then we'll pick up. Then we'll kick off, right? So it's, I don't know,
this is so
45
mean.
minutes. Then, knock on the door, open. We're still asleep.
Oh,
right? He goes, hey, hey, I thought we were gonna go. And I said, I said, listen, we just fell back asleep. We'll be ready in no time. He goes, oh, the hell with it. I'll just go back down to Coco's and have some coffee, right? So okay. And it's not 5 minutes. Knock on the door. Opened up. He's covered with snow from head to toe. Oh. And I mean, he looks like Kenny from South Park. All you can see is he's covered with snow. And I said, what the hell happened? He goes, I fell down the hill. So he tripped and he fell down the hill. I mean, oh my God.
He kept coming over. And Charlie kept telling him that Kachi was further on getting ready. The last time that he told him, Kachi's just tying his shoes. If you listen, that's all you could hear. So finally, when they get in the car to leave, and they said they go down, and Charlie looks at Kachi, says, "You hungry?" He goes, "Yeah." They pull in Coco's, and Larry's like, "No, not this. They're going to think I'm casing a joint to rob it, right?" And he didn't go in with you.
Well, and it was like that time. It was 11:30.
He drive with that. They don't make it in time for him to get the balls through. So now we're going over the lanes later. Guys are practicing, right? Mm-hmm. And Charlie says to me, "You want to ride over?" "You want to ride over? You're not my friend. F you." He's going on. So we go over, and all of a sudden, here he is walking on the concourse. Whatever later. Mm-hmm. And Charlie goes over. "How'd you get here?" "I got here with my new best friend, Mark Roth." I said, "Right." So I see Mark later. I said, "Hey, pal, you and Larry best friends?" "What do you mean?" "He jumped on the hood." He said, "I was either that or run him over." I said, "Well, you going to give him a ride back?" He goes, "Well, no, I'm leaving now. Just don't say nothing. I don't care." So he leaves. So Larry, all of a sudden, comes back, and we're standing there, and he says to Charlie, he looks down. Charlie looks down, and here's Larry. "Can I get a ride back?" And Charlie goes, I guess the cigarette. He just goes, "How about your new best friend, Mark Roth?" Like that. There's Larry. "F him. I don't care if he ever wins again." Now we go. So now, and all of a sudden, the fold is everything's okay.
Yep.
You know? Vef, he did a Q&A. He did a Q&A in Vegas one time with Steve Neff.
Okay.
And nobody was asking Larry a question. Mm-hmm. Every question was for Steve. I mean, Steve's 5-time champion, whatever. I mean, Steve's great ball. Yeah. They don't know who Larry is. And at the last minute, Garrett Goose says to Larry, "You want to go?" "Sure." So Larry goes out, and he's got the catcher's mitts on, the boxing gloves and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. And they ask a question about drilling and the pitches and everything. And Steve says to Denny, let him handle it. If you heard his answer, how precise and how detailed and how sincere he was being. Steve Neff and Dennis were back looking at him like, my God. I mean, he was really, really smart. I'm not kidding you. I'm not bragging. And he went into this thing and it was quiet. When we walked, you had to go back down and go to the paddock, because the paddock was upstairs. You came down. It was amazing. And the guys were all looking at him. And then someone said something. Wow, that was so amazing. What do you think I'm stupid like you? There was no, he's bowling they had a rabbit in St. Louis. Then only 4 guys made it, right?
Okay.
Yeah. It was 6 guys 6 guys, and there were 208 guys bowling.
Yeah, 6 guys. So Charlie shoots 260 the last game to make it, right? Larry's, I guess, in the running, I think.
Yeah.
Something.
He was.
He's going up. I don't know how many lanes over.
7.
How many? 7. And something happens, and he's on a string. He makes a bad shot, leaves the baby split. He opens. He's done. He accused Charlie of throwing him out. I'm making my run, and you're over there trying. What are you talking? I didn't even know you were in the building. Pfeff, he was something. I got the call that he died. I called Charlie, and then not long after that, he had a stepson who was in a wheelchair, and his father had left early, and Larry married his mom, and Larry was, and what was the kid's name? Oh God, I forget, but
Butchie.
He took to Larry as his dad. When Larry died, not long after Butch died, he died of a broken heart.
Yeah.
Very,
very sad.
Yeah. He was, but we were at a restaurant one time, me, Charlie, him, and we're walking up to pay the check, and all of a sudden I turn around and say something, Larry, he's not there. He fell. He's handicapped. God bless him. He fell. And I look at this table, and obviously you see this, it looks like an octopus as things come up. And he stands up. I said, what happened? What do you mean what happened? I fell, you ignorant bastard. He's going,
that's
my back is to him, right? And then
that's the time we were in the restaurant when John Madden was there.
Yeah.
That's when you and I walked up to talk to John Madden.
Yeah.
And we gave Larry the check.
We went to pay it. Yeah. Really.
Oh my God. And all we hear is, I'm like, what the hell was that?
Hey, I got to tell you, I'm amazed because I'm looking off screen right now, and my Brewers are on. They actually just took the lead. They were down 3-1 the whole game. It's the bottom of the 8th, and now it's 5-3 Brewers.
We're not concerned unless it's the Twins.
Never happens. I mean, our bats are silent in the playoffs, so this is like, whoa.
My Twins are silent right now too.
Oh yeah.
I mentioned the name to Charlie before, Lenny Guccione, and Lenny, another guy. We befriended Lenny.
Okay.
And he was a tough guy. So we go to eat someplace, and Lenny hated Larry because Larry was world champion disco dancer. He drove NASCAR. He taught Chuck Norris how to fight. He did everything. He played for the Cubs. Name it.
Yeah.
He did. So and Lenny hated him.
Okay.
So we're in the restaurant, and it's just freezing cold outside. And I'm busting Larry's chops at the table, and I finally get under his skin, and he gets mad. Enough of this, I ain't leaving. He goes over to bartender, and he says, and Charlie hears him say, call me a cab. He yells, you're a cab. He goes outside to wait for the cab. So Lenny is sitting next to me. It's the time you could smoke in the restaurants, right? Mm-hmm. And Lenny, had the carton of Marlboros under here. Most people had a pack. He had a carton. He takes a pack out and he's lighting one up. And I get up like this to go. He goes like this. And Lenny had fingers like a fire hydrant. He goes, puts me here. I went, what are you doing? He goes, here he is. Like this. He is. Where are you going? I said, I'm going out to see if Larry's there. He said, wait a minute. He says, when we go out, he might be an effing popsicle. He goes like that, right? So he didn't want me to go out. He said, I don't want you to go out. I'm having a good time now. I'm at peace. He said, and we went out and he was gone. I don't know, the cab came. And we got back into Lenny. When we got outside, Lenny was kicking around things. He goes, man, Maybe he's under here. Maybe he's there. Oh, Lenny. Is he okay, Larry? Or Charlie?
Yeah. In fact, when Marlos was in Vegas for working the high roller here about 3 weeks ago, Lenny was out there. He came over to see her.
Oh boy,
there's nothing left of him. I mean, he probably don't weigh 150 pounds.
That's amazing.
Pounds.
Boy, you remember you yelled at him in the rabbit in the Gable House. He was going to crush the ashtray.
He's going to bring an ashtray.
He was going to throw the ashtray about a foot, but it would have hit the wall at warp speed.
Yeah, we were like, he was like on lane 9 and 10, and we're watching the bowl of rabbit. And then obviously this is when you can smoke. Mm-hmm. So the ashtray was full, and he got mad. He got mad about everything. Yeah. But he was either going to try to crush the ashtray.
Oh yeah.
And then he couldn't do that, so he was going to throw it. He's cocked and ready to go. We're like, Lenny, no.
One of the funniest nights with Lenny though was with the guy from Scott Cray. Remember when Lenny said he could bowl this score?
Yeah, with no time.
And you were sitting down there with Scott, and he couldn't do it. He was sweating like a bird. And Scott said something. You said something, or Scott said something. Tell him 220 no tap or something. They were absolutely hysterical. They were. Lenny says, "Come on." We wanted to bet on 250, Fef.
Okay.
Yeah.
We wanted to bet us on 250.
Yeah.
250. I mean, 250 it's out of the wood already in the fifth frame, right? So then it's 240, not 220. So now he says to me, he's going like, pick a number. I'm like this. How about 229? Because he's got to get a fly back or something. Right? And he's going, and finally Scott Cray's like this. He's telling him, tell him 200, no tap. And then Charlie's like, oh, he'll kill. When we, this one, you had to call him Lenny. Me and Charlie were the only two guys call him Leonard. And he so we're Brad Bowling and Sean Christensen. You remember this? We're standing, we come down the paddock from Vegas, and we're standing off to the left of 1 and 2, Fef, and you could see above the crowd. And of course, Charlie had no trouble seeing above the crowd. Anyway, we were going for lunch with Lenny.
Okay.
So we can't see him. All of a sudden, Charlie sees him, and he can whistle like a train whistle. He gives this toot, and he goes like this, Leonard. He yells, Leonard. He comes knuckling back. He's coming over, right? Sean and Brad get behind Charlie like this. Right. He comes back, and there's Charlie. Now, Lenny's about as tall as me. So Charlie's looking down at him. He goes, Leonard, what did we tell you? Didn't we tell you to wait here? And he's going like this, Leonard. He ain't saying nothing. Sean and Brad's head come out like you see in the cartoons. And they can't believe that we called him that.
Yeah.
And later on, Brad Bowling says, you guys called him Leonard. I said, yeah. He goes, his mother don't call him Leonard. He said, he kills every. Okay. So when it goes on. So in the summer, I see Sean Christensen. I said, where's Brad? Oh, hey, you and Charlie almost got him killed. He said, well, Lenny's works at a bowling alley. He opens it up in the morning, cleans everything. Brad happened to have his Camaro out there one day. He's driving. He goes, sees Lenny's car, comes in. He sees Leonard, and Lenny goes, hey, Leonard, how are you? He came over the counter after him, going to kill him. He's screaming. He jumps up, and he runs across. He goes across the catwalk in the back. And Lenny had to stop because he had to smoke. He was out of breath. And Brad runs out, jumps in his car. It was convertible. Jumps in the car, starts up and goes. And Lenny's running. I'm going to kill you. Sean, and the guys told Brad, I wouldn't come back till at least Thursday or Friday. No, I mean this is the God's honest truth. I mean, but he, when you got to know him, he was sweet. He's still he's a sweetheart.
Yeah, he's a really, really nice guy.
He is a really nice guy. But boy, if you run afoul of him, my God. But now things have changed. He's had health problems. God love him. He's, I remember Mark. He said to me one day at the camp. He said, "Your boy Lenny's outside. He don't look too good." He said, how much longer do you think he has? Oh, he's got quite a while. What do you mean? He just got 2 pallets of Marlboros. Dropped down, and they start laughing. And Lenny, but we could say it to him, but we said it to him like here. We don't say it to him from mixed company.
Right.
We knew what to say, but Yeah. But I'll tell you what, he was a trip. He had a chance to make the finals one time on the tour that I remember. He was 8th with 6 games to go. And I think it might have been in Denver, actually. I'm not sure. And I remember Goose saying the night before, he's looking at the board. He goes to some of the guys, look at this guy in eighth place or wherever he was. He said, got a chance to make the finals. And I don't think at the time Lenny had ever cashed on the tour. Yeah. The next day he was, he was nervous and he couldn't let go of the ball. He couldn't let go of it. He was trying so hard. And he bowls out of the cash. He doesn't make cash. He comes in the paddock and he's destroying things. Goose comes in about 20 minutes later. Anybody see Lenny Gooch? Lenny Gooch, and a couple of guys are like, I don't know. I saw somebody that looked like him. He said, I think you're looking for the Tasmanian devil. He said, so the guy said, where'd he go? He said, I wouldn't go after him. You had a fine slip. You had a fine slip for him for whatever.
Yeah.
And it was, it wasn't a big deal. But Lenny cashed on the senior tour, didn't he, Charlie?
Yeah, he cashed. Actually, he had a little streak there where he made 2 or 3 finals in a row.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Charlie. I was going to say Brent Prentice is in the chat here. He says he heard you coaching again. Great seeing you at Nationals this year, and his all-time favorite show is still your winning wins or locks. By the way, speaking of wins, Brewers just won. So
wow,
who'd you beat?
I beat Steve Cook.
The monster.
Went through the field. Yeah, went through the field.
Yeah. No, I'm glad he brought that up about the coaching because you're college coaching again.
Yeah, I just started back in September at Trine University in Angola, Indiana.
Yeah.
Where?
So, Angola, Indiana. It's just
what's the name of it?
Trine University, TRINE.
My buddy's son goes there for hockey.
Oh, really?
Danielowski, Josh Danielowski.
No kidding.
Matter of fact, he was just there. There's a golf course in Bowling. The bowling
alley. Yeah, it's beautiful.
But the one now is state of the art. They have the New Brunswick ones, the colors.
Yep. It's
dark. Yeah, Trine. Yeah. It's the guy says to me, it's fantastic campus. It's beautiful.
It is. It's all brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
if you go there, and if you the Josh Danielowski. Now I've never met him, but I'm best friends with his dad and his mom and everything. And if you go up and you say, next time you see your dad, tell him you met one of Joe.
I'll do that. Yeah,
he's real good hockey player, and he refs hockey games in the off season. He's very respected. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I started. We just started in September, and the guy that's the head coach that's in charge of the program. We had talked about it a couple of years ago, and the program was just new at that point, and now they built a new facility. It's really, really nice. And everything.
Girls, right?
I'm sorry.
Girls, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so he coaches the girls team, and I'm the men's head coach, and he runs the program. And
answer me this: why can't the boys be NCAA?
Good question.
Why? I mean, I understand Title IX, but why can't the boys be NCAA bowling?
I'm not really sure. I really don't know. Well, it is because of Title IX. I think it's the funds. I mean, the girls. If you coach the girls in NCAA, I mean, you make a lot of money coaching the girls because you have to get paid so much, and it's a pretty good chunk.
And if I'm bowling college these days, and I have the opportunity to bowl regionals and bowl for money and things like that, I probably don't want to be an NCAA because then all that goes away, right?
Yeah. Well, you can see we're actually an NCAA school, and I never really got the whole story, but we're a USBC type of college.
Okay.
So they bowl whatever they want.
Right.
Smart fund. They put the money in the fund.
If they're young, like we've got the one boy that we have, Micah Voorhees. He's an excellent bowler. He's junior team USA, and he's with Storm junior Storm team and all that stuff. And hell of a bowler, but he has to do the smart money.
Right.
If he does, I don't think he bowls any of that stuff. But like I think they get paid with the junior thing. Somehow or another, it accumulates.
Doesn't that guy have that? Doesn't that guy have a famous uncle?
Jason
Voorhees.
I asked him that today. I said, you related to the guy with the axe? The axe
Nice.
and the mask.
Oh, yeah, he's beautiful, I tell you.
So yeah, but yeah, it's kind of confusing. But like we're an NCAA school, but neither of the teams are they're clubs.
Okay.
The girls are club. The girls are a
girls
club.
club also. Yeah.
Oh, they don't have to be. And if the school recognizes them as NCAA, they get money from the NCAA.
Well, I don't think they do in bowl. I don't think they do in the bowling. If they do, it's just the girls team. But,
yeah, I know that because the men are NAIA.
Well, you can either be NAIA or a club.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the girls, it's a process that they have to go through to be an NCAA bowling team. Because I mean, there's quite a bit of cost involved in all of that. I'm not, I've been out of it a little bit, so up until a couple of months ago, I'm not really sure, how it is, but I know that the NCAA teams, I mean, it's their scholarship money is good. I mean, the coaches get paid a lot of money.
Wow.
And I mean, it's I even think they get NIL money if they can. So
we know that they're not getting college football coach money.
Right.
No. Oh God, no.
That's it's,
maybe what they make a week.
Yeah.
Well, like the girl the young girl that just won the strike thing, the PBA strike thing.
Oh, 60,000.
Gianna Grandolino. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's $60,000. I mean, that's smart
pays for
money,
college. It's going to pay for a college.
No, well, her college, I guess, from what I understand, is paid for already anyway.
Okay, so I mean, but she has to put that in a smart fund.
Yeah, but she can spend it how she sees fit as expenses
that are
for her
school related.
I understand.
School related. Yeah. So that's a nice little hit there.
Now let me ask: what did Prather get for second?
$10,000. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Boy, that guy throws a lot of good balls when he has to.
Yeah.
I didn't see the end, but a couple guys were questioning this or that or what. I don't know. I said, look, I don't know. I said,
I think he just,
and anybody can make a mistake at any time, regardless of. And 60 grand. How many tournaments on the PBA Tour? 60 grand first.
None.
Any.
How about the senior tour? Oh my God, you got
$8,000.
Yeah.
$8,000. I was going to tell when we lost Bakes here, but Tommy and I talk all the time, and like I won't say we're done. Like we bowled quite a bit this year, but it doesn't make any sense to bowl anymore. I mean, not only the fact that Tommy's 70, I'm 73.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the guys that are 50, they're still 23 years young.
Tell me.
And it's just I mean, he still bowls. We still bowl as good as we ever have, but it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Can't keep up.
Barnes had the great realization, or whatever you want to say, or thing. John Janowitz is great. Mm-hmm. He's been a great amateur bowler for years. Never bowled out. He's big tournaments. And when Barnes said at 50 years old he came out, he didn't have near the games on his body that I did. That Barnes did. I mean, we bowled. I was out maybe 10 years, 12 Charlie at the same time. John was bowling league, and he bowled big tournaments, and he bowled team with John Gaines. And Gaines said to me, Hutch, he says, this guy's as good as anybody. He said, but maybe he had a great job, and you come out and bowl, you start the year with no money guaranteed. Mm-hmm. All you have is guaranteed expenses. You have no money guaranteed. And even like all the other sports, well, you got a salary, and then you got bonuses if you do this. Bowling, you have to perform. They're not going to. You don't get any money to show up except at the Tournament of Champions. And when the first time I ever bowled there, every tournament was $125. That one was $200. And all they were saying, the Firestone Tournament Champions, the Invitational. When I got the card and I saw the entry fee was $200, and I called the office, got his honest truth. I talked to Joe Antonor. I said, I thought this tournament was for free. I really did, because they were saying you get invited to it.
Yeah.
Right? He said to me, no, Joe. I said, well, it's $200. And I said, what if I don't want to bowl? And because I was eligible, he said to me, let me know. He said, I have a standby list of 9.
Jeez.
He said, you're guaranteed 1,000. Yeah, I'm guaranteed 1,000, but 200 to go. So that makes it 800. Mm-hmm. I'm 5 days in a hotel and I eat.
Yeah.
So what have I got?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, 25,000 first. You know, but I mean, bowling has been just forever. Like the year that Chris Vi won the tournament. Once tournament champ, somebody won ahead of Belmonte, and they got 100,000. And then Belmo wins the U.S. Open, which is the aftermath of the All-Star, which was the biggest tournament in the world for bowling. He got 25,000.
Yeah.
How do you get 100,000 and 25,000? I mean, and they're both of equal stature. You know, Billy Allen. I tried to show my buddy a picture of Billy Allen. You met Charlie? You meet Billy?
Yeah.
I met Billy, and Billy won 12 times. At one time, he was the second leading title winner in the PBA. Weber had 14, and Billy Allen had 12. And I was at his Hall of Fame induction in Akron. Those things were great, and he really made great sense. He says, you know, he said, I'm hearing it. People have told me that I've never won a major tournament. He said, I don't know what makes the major tournaments besides the press. He said, but I can tell you this. I have won the tournament before the major tournament. I have won the tournament after the major tournament. I have made a show at a major tournament. And everybody in this cast here, all the champions, he said, they were at all three tournaments. He said, so you tell me what makes one different than the other. He said the Masters was this, PBA National, US Open, and the other one, what was the third jewel? Firestone. He said, they christened them that. He said, but except for the Firestone, which guaranteed the 25,000, the other ones weren't. You know, it's just a game where if the year that Tackett had this year, the year that Kyle had a couple years ago, they were golfers.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they'd have a year like Scotty Scheffler. I mean, but they're not. And you do what you're blessed with the ability to do. Mm-hmm. And I feel sorry for the girls. The girls bowl as hard as the men. What's the first place in the girls? 20. So the senior,
but their majors are big.
60 like or 100, yeah.
60 or 100.
Yeah.
And their last cash spot is right around 2,500 to 3,000.
In the majors, you mean?
No, well, in most of them.
Really, 24th place is like 2,500?
Oh yeah. Wow. It's good. It's good. I mean, they still have some cash spots underneath.
My God, how many girls in the field? Is there 100?
Big fields are, 90 some, 100 maybe.
Yeah. We. I mean, this everything broke one year at the Quaker State. If Paul Colwell is watching this, he'll remember this. Paul Colwell, we were bowling the Quaker State. The spokesman for Quaker State at the time was a guy named Campanella. He was there. He did the commercials, and he was there on the show and stuff like that. Joseph Campanelli was an actor. And Paul happened to talk to him. First place was 20-some thousand. It was a $125,000 tournament, 18%. Yeah, some like 20 grand or whatever, 18,000, 19,000. And he asked him, well, how much did you guys give? And he told him. And then we knew how much the house gave. Then Paul went and got all the bowlers to bowl it, and it was a rabbit squad. And it was the time when you bowled a rabbit, you paid the whole fee. Mm-hmm. Right? Remember when you paid the whole fee?
Yeah.
The bowl the rabbit squad, then later on you paid half, and then if you made it, you paid the other half, right? Yep. So he did all that. And then by asking someone, Paul found out how much ABC gave us a show. How much do you think it gave us a show? Per show.
Just by like process of elimination.
A show. How much do you think they gave us?
Well, it was probably about 100 and some thousand a show.
198,000.
Yeah.
A show. We're bowling for 125,000 total purse. You got 10,000 from the house. You got 25,000 from the sponsor. You have all the entry fees in the rabbit squad, the guys that don't make it. But that's when they gave Joe Antonora the right to finance the summer tour, to allocate the money where he thought. So that's why we were bowling in Fresno when it was 109 degrees out, when we should have been back home bowling regionals and running a pro shop. And we should have bowled when bowling was big, from September until the end of March or April. Would have been great. Okay. The fall tour would have been great. Summer tour. Give the guys the time off. And you know what they said at the tournament at the executive board meeting one time? These were the guys from the office. If we get out of the public eye, we'll fall off the map. This is when bowling was still drawing big crowds, and we said, "What are you talking about? The summer leagues are full." He said, "They're wide. They're not. No, the winter. That's when bowling's big. After Labor Day, that's when it starts up. And now because of whatever the climate change or whatever it is, but it gets warmer. But a lot of the leagues now are 32 weeks, 30 weeks, and stuff like that." I said, when bowling was at its height, that's when you don't play baseball in the winter.
Right.
You play in the summer. You don't play football in the summer. You play in the winter. You don't play basketball outdoors. You play it indoors. But when bowling boomed in the fall and then into spring, that's when we should. We still would have had the fall tour, which was 5 weeks, and 16 weeks on the winter tour. We had 22 weeks, almost 4 months of bowling every Saturday. And you didn't have to worry about where it was. You knew where it was, and you knew what time it was.
Sure.
And I mean, whatever happens, but it fell through, and like that. And but the guy, they got it back up again, going pretty good, obviously. Yeah. But it's just, I would like to see the senior bowlers bowl for what the ladies bowl for. Not being a smart guy, 20,000 first is a nice week.
Yeah.
I would like to see.
They should. Yeah.
I would like to see the lady bowlers bowl for what the guys bowl for.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to see the guys bowl for what the lady golfers play for.
Sure.
The men's golf's off the chart.
Yeah.
But the lady golfers, now their lowest prize is $540,000 if you win.
Jeez.
Kyle Troop didn't. Did Kyle make 540 that great year?
I thought it was 495 or 495.
Okay,
he didn't make 540.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I mean, so then, okay, because the lady golfers want to play for what the men play. It's never going to happen.
Right.
It's not going to happen. And the men are whatever, just like the ladies soccer team wants to get what the men do. Yeah. No, the ladies soccer team generate $30 million. The men's generate $3 billion or whatever, 300, whatever. It's just demographics, but the women work just as hard. I mean, and instead of getting, and get what the regular tour gets, 25, 30,000, have a lady a chance to make $250,000 or $350,000 like they do. What did Tackett make this year?
300.
Oh, at least
300 some.
Yeah, I mean, not bad. I mean, but my God Almighty, if you, and there's a lot of people still follow it, but I tell this to people. A guy says to me all the time, he said, "How come bowlers don't bowl for the money like the golfers do?" I said, "Because the people who play golf sign checks on the bottom right. The people who bowl turn the check over and sign it on the back. It's that simple. That's why the tennis players play for that. That's why golf courses, guys used to tell me about the country club, they put walls up. There's no walls around the bowling center, but you think Harvey Firestone wants to come in and bowl with the guy that's down there putting the lug nuts on tires? When Eddie Elias told me and Bill Straub the story about when he went to ABC to pitch the tour, and he talked to the before Arledge.
You're breaking up a little bit. Did you say Rune Arledge?
Yeah, Rune. Yeah, before he was just starting. So the guy that was there before him.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was Jim Spencer, whoever it was, but anyway, the guy said to Eddie, "You got any backing?" Eddie told me and Bill this in his office when we were out there for the depositions for the lawsuit. He goes, "Yeah, I got a guy." Who? And Eddie said like this to us. He goes like this. "Harvey in there? Harv, hello, Harv." He goes, "Harvey Firestone, Mr. Firestone." And he's going to foot the whole thing. And he says, and immediately they start talking. Because Mr. Firestone was one of the 10 richest people in the world at the time, for sure in the United States. And he didn't know anything about bowling. He thought in the summer people went to Florida and played polo. Because that's what he did. And his sons did. They didn't go bowling. You're not going to go bowling with guys coming in with, looking like shorts and jeans. No, we're going someplace where you wear dress shirts and stuff like that, right? And Eddie told us great stories about all the tournaments that he heard about. The airlines, United Airlines is going to sponsor a tournament. They want to give $500,000. He calls the guy. "I don't know if I'm talking to a guy handling baggage." And he'd say, "I don't know." "Oh, let me put you with Dr. Pfefferman." "Yeah, he's in there." "Right, doctor, you come over, and you're one of the janitors or something. Hey, what can I do for you?" "Yeah, I'm busy right now. Yeah, I got a spill here in one of the labs." He didn't know. He didn't know. I said, I talked to Chevrolet at GMC, and you know what the guys told him? He said, bowling doesn't appeal to our demographic. He says, oh, you're right. Every bowling alley I go by, all I see are Mercedes and Cadillacs, and I never see any Chevys or Buicks or nothing like that, or Pontiacs.
Right.
And they just didn't want it, you know. And it was at a time when Betty started, when all you had to do was open a bowling alley and just say that they were open 24/7. At the time, it was a sickness.
Yeah,
it was an absolute sickness, right? The baseball players all got involved, and they saw the turn, and they all bailed. And they all made a lot of money. Unitas had lanes, football, Barron, Rizzuto, Mantle. They all got involved, you know, and it was just their name, right? Oh, I mean, it was just, hey, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was a lot of fun. It's what I wanted to do. It's what he wanted to do. And I tell the story of how I met him, right? I'm Tommy Baker. I'm bowling next to him in the summer tour in Jersey. He's crossing with Earl, the Great Adventure Open, and everybody's watching Earl. By the end of the 18 games of qualifying, everybody's watching Tommy. I mean, he's quiet, doesn't say nothing. He's silk going up, right?
Yeah.
So I meet Charlie in Milwaukee. I'm following him, and this was at the time that if you got caught asking somebody for lane help, you had to give up an ear. It was stupid. No coaching. You're like, is this lane hooking more? Hey, Charlie, you're disqualified. Okay. So that's how I meet him. I said, what do you got? Almost the same as the last pair, maybe 1 and 2, 2 and 1, or something like this. And we just start talking. This is impossible. It says my battery's running low.
Huh?
You might have to plug it in. Well, I don't have anything to plug in.
We can wrap it up.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just we were there. You know, one of these days, Fef, come on, we'll tell you about the lawsuit.
Yeah, you mentioned it when you came on.
Yeah, but I mean, Charlie was one of the guys that right till the end, and then you know I told you about the article written by our buddy. I'll tell you if we go off the camera, but I don't want to mention his name here. And he said that a bunch of no-name bowlers were involved. Every one of us had won PBA National Tour titles. We were not no-name bowlers. Yeah. We were known all over the country for bowling.
Sure. Okay. Well, yeah, your thing battery's getting low. Let's take it off the sheet like this. Like I told you before we went on. Here's how we do it.
Let's go off the sheet. Challenge a bowler to appear on a future episode.
I would like to challenge Will Madison.
I would say Diana Zavulova.
The better Russo, Lauren Russo.
We're looking for anyone who has a passion for the sport and a unique story to tell.
So last time Charlie came on, he challenged Paul Wolf. What a great episode he had. I really enjoyed talking to him. So I'm hoping you've got at least another one. That's going to be great for me.
Del Warren.
Okay.
Wow. That's a big guy.
Yeah.
In two ways. That's a big guy, and he's 6'7".
Is he that tall?
He's as tall as you, Charlie.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He might be a little bit taller than me.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been on once before, but he hasn't been on.
Oh, okay.
But he hasn't been on since he won the national championship again. So that would be a
well, then that rotten skunk needs to be on again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How about you, Joe?
That was too bad about Randy Stoughton.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Oh, I think we lost him.
Yeah, he said his battery is going kerflooey.
Yeah. Well, 1 out of 2 ain't bad, right?
Yeah.
Hitting 500.
Tommy sent me a message that his phone just went blank.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Yeah. So it's just you and I guess.
Yeah. Hey, that's all right. We started with 4. We'll end with 2.
Hey, you know who else you should get on here?
Yeah.
Dana Wright.
Dana Wright has been on.
Oh, has he been on too? Damn.
And I'll find an excuse to bring him back. But
yeah.
But yeah, he came on. I want to say a couple months ago. And had a lot of great stuff to say and all that. Well, I feel bad that that both of them both of them flew the coop.
Yeah, but not through any fault of their own. But.
No, it's technology. It's great when it works, and not so much when it doesn't. But I'll leave this by saying I hope everyone checks out the live stream this weekend, live from Owatonna, Minnesota, Spare Time Entertainment. Saturday, October 5th, we start at 8:30. We probably won't finish that thing until like 11 at night, but it'll be a lot of great bowling, maybe some guys that you may have even heard of. And after that, we'll be off the next week, and then we're bringing on Louis Benavides, who is in Texas, and I had a brother who was in this area and said, you got to get my brother on. So I'm glad we had a chat, and he's going to come on and tell us his bowling story. He's been in the sport his whole life.
Who else you should try to get on? Joe Vito.
Joe who?
Joe Vito.
Joe Vito? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, because he was just a terrific action bowler. And from down in Texas. And he bowled like a couple PBA tournaments, and I crossed with him a couple of times. Really good guy. I haven't seen him in years, but yeah, I think he'd be great. I think he'd be great.
Okay. Well, Joe and Dell and Dana, if you're watching this, you know where to find me. Facebook under Andrew Pfeffer, or bowlingwiththepfeff@yahoo.com via email, and we'll make it happen. Well, Charlie, it's been a pleasure. Always
thanks, Steph. I appreciate it. Yeah. I know we went a long time, and I wish Tommy wish things wouldn't happen with Tommy. But
and Hutch for that matter. But Mrs. Pfeff hasn't yelled at me yet to be quiet. So, so as far as I'm concerned, we're on time.
All right, cool.
But thanks everyone for watching. Always a pleasure, and hopefully we'll see you this weekend for that.
Thank you for watching Bowling with the Pfeff. Pound the like button and subscribe button. It's the easiest way to support the channel, and it's free. Bowling with the Pfeff is brought to you by Chip Magnet. Raise your snack standards. Email bowlingwiththepfeff@yahoo.com with questions or to appear on the show. You can also reach out on your favorite social media platform.